Council meeting for August 18th, 2026. And we're going to start with an opening ceremony from Tron Arnold with the Alzheimer's Association. And then he will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance after his presentation. Tron?
Thank you, council members. Appreciate the time to talk. So I'm Tron Arnold. I work just here on Main Street, not too far away, but I volunteer for the Alzheimer's Association every year because they have a great cause. They are looking to provide research and funding for new treatments and if hopefully someday possibly a cure for Alzheimer's. But they also offer a lot of support to those suffering from Alzheimer's as well as those caregivers who take care of those with Alzheimer's. So it's a great cause, but every year nationally they do a bunch of different local, they call it the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and amongst other events, but this is their big one. And for Cache Valley, our walk will be September 19th at Merlin Olson Park at 10 a.m. It usually goes for a couple hours. The idea being there'll be some local vendors there who support some booths, individuals, anyone can really start a team that will walk along the route. And the idea is that everyone will wear purple, which is the color of Alzheimer's Association, and try to raise more awareness and funding for research. So that's what it's all about, but wanted to make you aware that it's coming up and give an opportunity to maybe ask any questions if you had any of what it's about, if you weren't already familiar with it. So kind of short and sweet, I guess. So, but any questions?
Any questions for Tron?
Does that, how are you earning the money? I'm sorry, I might have missed that, but people are making a team, so they pay for that, and then are they asking for donations, the teams? Or?
They will never turn away donations.
Yeah.
So they're always looking for more funding. When they allow local businesses or individuals to start up booths at the walk, and so you can have local businesses run a booth where they can kind of promote their own business or cause, and it costs a little bit to start up a booth, and so that funding goes to the association. And then you can start up a team. So for example, I've started up a team and then I donate, say, a little bit of money to it, and then I try to get more people on my team who will also donate and come to the walk to participate. And the more people we get there, the more we're seen, the more the community can see purple and start to learn more about it. So.
Do you have any of your information available in Spanish?
Yes, I don't have any with me right now, but yes, we do. We have some flyers in Spanish.
Thank you.
And do you have a website, correct?
Yes, it's alz.org, alz.org.
Okay. And that's the local chapter, or?
No, then they have the search bar where you can search your local walk, and then so it'll have the Cache Valley Walk to End Alzheimer's. Okay. And anyone can start up a team. It doesn't take any money to do that, but they're always looking for more donations if they can. So,
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tron. I appreciate you coming in today. We'll now move on to acceptance of the minutes from our last meeting and approval of the agenda, as well as acceptance of the minutes from our Truth and Taxation meeting on August 11th.
I move acceptance of the August 4 and August 11 minutes and approval of the agenda for this evening.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved and the agenda is accepted. Or other way around, minutes are accepted, agenda is approved. Our regular 2026 meeting schedule is the first and third Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. here in the council chambers, and our next meeting will be September 1st at 5:30 p.m. This time on our agenda is for questions and comments for the mayor and council. During this comment time, you're welcome to come to the microphone. Please state your name, your city of residence, and we're asking that you keep your comments to under 4 minutes today. And we also ask that you keep your comments to items that are within the purview of the council and the mayor, and items that are not already on the agenda for this evening. And with that, I will open up our questions and comments, and the microphone is the public's.
Hi, I'm Gail Hansen from Logan, and I was wondering if we are using flock cameras or other surveillance cameras, and if we are obligated to share the information we gain to other agencies, if we have a contractual obligation. And that was it.
Thank you, Gail. Given I think we have a lot of comments tonight, we're going to have staff get back to you on that one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Gail. Josh.
Josh Mahler. I don't know where to start. I think I sent everybody except for Eugenie. I don't know if you got my email. It came back with an error saying that it didn't go through, so.
Then I didn't get it.
Okay. Yeah, well, it said
Sorry.
it was reviewed, so. You got an important vote tonight, so. I've sent you guys all letters hoping to try and persuade you from the decision that's going on tonight. Multiple reasons. I'm going to try and stay off the topic, but with the topic of that vote going on tonight.
Fine line.
I'm hoping that you take what I wrote seriously. I think that, you know, I remember campaigning, you know, a lot, you know, over the past last 2 times, and open space is coming up a lot, you know. We support our open spaces. I think we should continue to support our open spaces, even if it's not based on a tax incentive. You know, when is this growth going to end? When is it going to end when this place looks like Salt Lake City? I mean, I wonder, you know, if that's the course that we're going on, we might as well just go all out. Maybe we should get some 20, 30-story buildings downtown. You know, we could, we're looking at Salt Lake City, we could do another 20, 30 high-density units. When are we going to start preserving this place that we claim that we love? Your vote tonight is actually going to determine a lot of you know, how these things are going to work. You know, we are, guys, this is a huge bird migratorial pathway every year. You know, I don't want to tell, you know, I don't want people telling the grandchildren about the wildlife that exists here to look it up online, you know, because it no longer exists. Because, you know, we poisoned our wetlands because we have just, you know, turned everything into you know, construction. I'm hoping that you guys truly consider your vote tonight on this topic. And I really hope it's to preserve what we have left, because we have sacrificed a lot over the years with this place. But I'm not going to stick around for the vote. I'm afraid I will throw a total temper tantrum if it goes any other way. So, there you go. Ciao.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
I appreciate your emails and discussions of the whole thing.
Good evening, Mayor Anderson, members of council. My name is Megan Crollo, and I own property at 1233 Canyon Road in Logan. And I know I'm new to this room, but I know a couple of you are new to your seats up there. So I'm hoping we can find some footing on this matter together. A little bit about me. My great-great-grandfather was Herman Johnson of Herms. I'm sure you're all familiar. His daughter, Hermione, was my great-grandmother. Her daughter, Leona, was my grandma. That makes me the 5th generation on Canyon Road. So needless to say, this neighborhood is like really special to me. Tonight I'm here because I have a petition with 50 signatures requesting proof of the 99-foot right-of-way on Canyon Road that's needed for the streetscape portion of the first dam tank and water line project. These signatures represent the people most directly impacted by this project, and under Utah law, The party asserting the right-of-way bears the burden of proving it. In this case, that's the city of Logan. So if you live on Canyon Road and you're here tonight, will you please raise your hand? Hi, neighbors. So why are we all here, and why a petition? To date, I've met virtually to discuss the scope of this with the project team. I've requested proof of the right-of-way through an attorney. I've gone through mediation with the state ombudsman's office trying to resolve this. Myself and neighbors have property surveys done that show a right-of-way on Canyon Road significantly less than 99 feet. Verifiable by recorded plat maps and confirmed by every survey done in the past 70 years. Notably, that includes a survey of Mayor Anderson's property that was done in 2024, showing a right-of-way of 60 feet on Canyon Road. So now, it's not just me asking, it's all of us here and everyone who signed this asking, in good faith, collectively, for this piece of information. Just provide the proof of the right-of-way on Canyon Road. To be clear, this isn't about the design. It's about the fact that this design is relying on a right-of-way claim that hasn't been proven. Continuing to move forward or turning a blind eye to this detail opens the city up to liability. The design can be challenged, resulting in unnecessary costs to taxpayers and legal fees, delays, and a loss of trust, and that falls on this council. I know not all of you were part of the decisions that started this project and regarding this project, but this is where we're at now, and it's gonna fall in your hands. So if the city holds the recorded right-of-way sufficient for the design, produce it. It ends the legal question immediately, and the project proceeds on solid ground. If that doesn't exist, that's worth knowing now, not later. And that doesn't mean abandoning the vision for the streetscape for Canyon Road. All it means is working within different parameters. So prove it. That's what we're all asking. Just provide the documentation for a project that impacts our homes every single day, now and in the future. This is a document the city should have had before the project began. So Chairman Johnson, this is a little bit on you. I'm asking you to put this as an agenda item for a future meeting. Give us a clear answer on the right-of-way, and let's work through the rest of this together, the way a community should. I'm also providing a sheet noting the relevant constitutional protections for private property. We're all granted under the US Constitution and the Utah State Constitution for your reference, and the survey of Mark's property showing the 60-foot right-of-way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
I believe this goes to you, correct? Okay, and please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Seeing no one else moving for the microphone, we will close the questions and comments for the mayor and council. I've taken notes on all those comments, and we'll look into them and reach out to those of you that have commented. So thank you for that. We'll now move on to our mayor and staff reports, and I will hand the time over to Mayor Anderson for his updates.
Thank you. We have some special visitors tonight, the Jaron and Julie Taylor, excuse me, and they are with Just Serve. And this year, Logan City has committed to do as many hours of service we could possibly do. In fact, our goal was very, I would say, I don't think of the right word.
Ambitious?
Very ambitious. There you go. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. But we're getting close. We're getting there. So service has been very important for us, and we're partnering with Just Serve. And if you would like to present, that would be wonderful. And then I'll talk about the proclamation that we have afterwards. Couldn't think of ambitious. That's okay.
Well, my name is Jaron, and this is my wife Julie Taylor, and we're grateful for this opportunity to explain the possibilities of Just Serve and how we can work together with the City of Logan. Just Serve is about connecting people who are willing to volunteer with organizations and people who need the help. Before we get started, we would like to acknowledge and thank each of the city council members for your service to our community. The rest of us, most of us, have absolutely no desire to campaign or run for election. Fortunately, for the rest of us, we don't have to run for election to serve our community. There are countless ways we can all step forward, lend a hand, and make a difference. Sometimes we can simply just serve. And that is really what we are here to talk about today. In January, Julie and I were asked to serve as Just Serve specialists, Just Serve representatives for Cache Valley. And shortly after that, we heard Mayor Anderson speak to a group of nonprofit leaders, and he explained that when he entered office, he challenged Logan City employees to personally provide 250 hours of service in the community each year. Very ambitious.
Thank you.
He talked about several of the benefits that come when we give our time to serve others, both for the people receiving the service and for those providing it. He then gave each of those leaders a challenge. He asked us to help identify meaningful service opportunities for Logan City employees, residents, and especially for the youth, who are the future of our community. He said, we simply need more service projects. As Just Serve representatives, Julie and I took that challenge seriously, and it fits perfectly with what Just Serve is designed to do.
Over the past few months, we've had the opportunity to become acquainted with hundreds of nonprofit organizations and nearly 50 different faith groups throughout Cache Valley. We meet regularly with many of these groups and collaborate on ways that Just Serve can help connect willing volunteers with meaningful and memorable opportunities to serve. Hundreds of these local needs are listed on justserve.org. That's a website that updates continuously as new projects and events arise in Cache Valley. Anyone visiting that website for the first time would likely be amazed, as we were, by the sheer number and variety of ways to make a difference right here in our community. At the same time, it was disheartening to realize that these vital opportunities remain hidden away on a website that most people simply don't think to visit on a regular basis. To give these local needs the visibility they deserved, we launched dedicated Facebook and Instagram pages under the name Just Serve Cache Valley. Our goal is simple. By bringing these service opportunities directly into the everyday social media feeds of Cache Valley residents, we hope to connect more people with meaningful ways to serve. The community support for these new accounts has been really encouraging. Local influencers have stepped up to share our posts with their followers, helping us connect with a much broader audience. However, currently there are far more opportunities to serve than there are volunteers available to meet those needs. So our challenge has changed a little. Rather than trying to find more service projects, rather than trying to find more service projects, we are now trying to find more willing hands ready to step forward as volunteers. One of these projects we've recently posted is actually for the Alzheimer's Walk, to find more volunteers for that. If you haven't connected with these pages yet, we invite you to follow Just Serve Cache Valley on Facebook and Instagram. It's an easy way to discover local needs, see featured service projects, and find simple ways to make a difference in Cache Valley. These accounts are currently connecting over 1,100 followers with community updates and needs.
We recently saw just how powerful that connection can be. During the fires on Canyon Road, I was standing on a cliff in Quail Bluff when I heard Mayor Anderson talking with his wife as they nervously watched the flames getting closer to their home. I remember she said, "Do you think we should go on the other side where the firefighters are?" And the mayor said, "You know, that is the last thing they need, is to have the mayor telling them what to do in an emergency." And I thought that was prepared. And it worked out to just let them do their job.
Pretty close to my exact words.
So we had a brief discussion about the fire in the evacuation center. It is during moments like that when we become especially grateful for firefighters, emergency personnel, and volunteers who step forward to protect the people and things that matter most. After talking with the mayor, I drove down to the local stake center where I met with Ron Gonzalez, the Logan City Emergency Manager. He and several CERT team members volunteer members were coordinating with the Red Cross and local church leaders to set up an evacuation center. It was impressive to watch volunteers, church leaders, nonprofit organizations, and city officials working side by side with the same goal. That is really the spirit of Just Serve. I then reached out to my wife, Julie, and asked her to post a picture of the fire along with the address of the evacuation center, the shelter, on Just Serve Cache Valley social media pages. Well, those social media pages are still relatively new, but that single post has received over 130,000 views. To us, that demonstrated that the Just Serve Cache Valley social media pages can be a powerful tool to promote awareness of service opportunities. People want to help. Sometimes they simply need to know where to go and what is needed and how they can get involved. That is exactly the gap that Just Serve can help fill. In fact, our very next post encouraged people to sign up for Everbridge, Cache County's emergency alert system. This helped educate the community on how they could receive important information during future emergencies. And again, it was simply about connecting people with information and opportunities that can help strengthen our community. Although Logan City has not officially become a Just Serve city yet, I think we still need a signature. That hasn't stopped us from already working together. One great example is the upcoming America 250 and Cache Valley Days of Service on September 11th and 12th. Russ Aquina, Logan City's Parks and Recreation Director, along with Dana McKinnon, have been instrumental in identifying and providing many meaningful service projects for the Cache Valley Days of Service. This is exactly the kind of partnership we hope to build upon with Logan City. Logan City understands the needs of our community. Nonprofit and faith organizations understand many of those needs as well. Just Serve can provide another piece of the puzzle by helping connect those needs with people who are already and willing to serve. When Mayor Anderson first challenged us, he said, we need more service projects. After spending the past several months getting to know the organizations throughout Cache Valley, we have some good news. The projects are here. The needs are here. And we believe the volunteers are here too. Our job is simply to connect them. And we believe Just Serve and the City of Logan can do that together. There is one more way we'd love to work together, and that is we would love to regularly recognize the youth and other members of our community who go above and beyond in serving others. There are people throughout Logan quietly doing remarkable things that make our community better. We believe their examples deserve to be shared and celebrated. We propose that on a regular basis, we highlight individuals, and especially young people, who just serve to make the City of Logan an even better place to live. Hopefully, by sharing their examples, we will inspire others to step forward and discover for themselves the joy that comes from simply serving. We invite everyone to follow Just Serve Cache Valley to discover new and exciting ways to serve and help make our valley an even greater place to call home. However, we do caution you about service. It can be highly infectious, and we hope you get infected by it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jared and Julie.
Before you sit down, service is a high priority, and Just Serve is a high priority for me and for our city. And so I've signed a proclamation that says that the City of Logan commits to promoting volunteerism, leveraging justserve.org to make it easier for residents to find and engage in volunteer opportunities, and will regularly acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of volunteers. So thank you so much for coming, and we're going to try and get as many people to these activities coming up. We've got some amazing service opportunities on Friday, September 11th and September 12th coming up. And let's see if we can fill every slot and then some for people that want to get out there and serve.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Welcome to being a Just Serve City.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
I already got one, so I'm good. Teresa deserves one. All right. Next report that I have is on the Logan River watershed plan, and Paul, and Zan, please.
Good evening.
Long time no see.
Absolutely. I believe all of you are familiar, at least to some degree, with the Logan River watershed project. It recently completed a public comment period as part of its process. And so we thought the timing was good to invite project team, Ms. Zan Murray with JUB Engineers, this project manager, to come and just give an update to the council, an opportunity for you to get caught up on it if needs be, and also to ask questions with it as well. So I'll turn it over to Zan.
Thanks, Paul. I have a sheet. There's two separate sheets. I'll send the first one down. Just take one. And what I'm sharing with you are a couple of fact sheets that we prepared. These are a little bit older. They were prepared probably about a year and a half ago, but they give an overview of the project and a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight. And this is just for your information, and perhaps you have questions that I might not get to tonight for sake of time, but if you do have additional questions, by all means, check in with the project team and myself for sure. So with that being said, we're just going to thumb through a handful or about a dozen slides here, and then leave it up to you to answer any questions that you've got. So the first thing I want to recognize is that this is an NRCS project for the Logan River watershed draft EIS and EIS plan. This program that we are engaged in here is a funding mechanism through the NRCS to take care of different priority activities, and we'll talk about those in just a second.
Hey, Zan?
Yes.
Just for the sake of everyone, would you just say what NRCS is?
Great question. It is Natural Resource Conservation Service.
And it's the federal government?
It is, that's correct. Thank you for that.
How often do they do these types of projects?
How often do they do these types of projects?
I was just curious.
This particular program was implemented in 1953, revised in 1983, and then brought back to active funding in 2017 or 18. So it's a mechanism and a program that NRCS uses to do different things.
Nationwide. Nationwide.
Yes, that's correct. Nationwide. That's right.
So you're saying they've been doing this for a long time?
Yes, quite a while. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight the fact that this is a community project. The sponsor is Cashwater District. Nathan Dowks from the district is here with us today. It also includes Logan City, North Logan City, Hyde Park, and the Crockett Avenue Irrigation Company. Gordon Colson, the president of the irrigation company, is here with us today as well. I also want to recognize Kyler Olson. He is a team member to JUB through Franson Civil Engineering. We've been partnering on this project since 2016, just to give you a little bit of a sense of the history behind this. So the next slide that I want to share with you is a little small, and I apologize for this, but this is the overview of the preferred alternative. And what I want to highlight here is that there are three main components of the watershed program that are engaged by this environmental impact statement and potential project. The first is flood control. That is the primary flagship of the program, is to take care and address flooding. As such, the NRCS funds construction improvements related to flood control at 100%. Another portion of the program is agricultural water management, or dealing with agricultural irrigation. That is funded at 75%. And then another portion of the project that program that we've enlisted in this project is recreation, and that's funded at 50%. So there's a significant amount of benefit financially that comes to entities that are able to engage in this program if the projects are funded.
Is recreation 15 or 50?
50.
50.
Okay.
Yeah, great question.
And the communities have to come up with the other portion of any funding gap.
The sponsors and co-sponsors would work through that and come up with that additional funding. That's exactly right. Great clarification. So as we went and started working on this project, I mentioned that it started in 2016. Crockett Avenue Irrigation Company enlisted JDB and Franson Civil Engineers to do a study on pressurized irrigation in their service area, which is essentially the twin canals which run approximately 2nd east west from approximately Center Street all the way out through Hyde Park. At that point in time, we prepared that study. It appeared to be feasible and something to continue to pursue, and then this funding source was available at that time, so we made an application to start the process to receive funding through the watershed program, and that grant was given in 2020 is when that was offered up. So we've gone after funding twice. We received funding on the second application. So the purpose of the project, as we go through an environmental impact statement, you have to define a purpose and need. And so the primary purposes that are identified for this project include protecting water rights, which we have limited rights within the valley. We have limited culinary water resources. We have different water resources, but culinary water resources come at a premium because you don't have to treat them, put extensive dollars and cents into getting it to a drinkable state. There was a lot of deteriorating infrastructure. A lot of canal and other irrigation infrastructure has gotten older. Some city infrastructure continues to age and needs to be replaced. And so this project can help mitigate some of those costs. There's also culinary and wastewater treatment costs and delivery costs that can be offset underneath this project. There's a lot of money that's spent in the wastewater treatment plant that Logan City has, ongoing costs, and there's some benefits that come with that we'll talk about in a minute. And then there's also flood activities that are beneficial here as well. There's flooding that occurs off of the canals as flood water or storm water enters into those canals. They rise above the banks, they top, and then they can cause flooding to homes and different things. So if you look at this map closely, and I apologize, the colors are fairly close, the items in purple are related to the agricultural water management or irrigation portions of the project. The items in blue down by the sewer lagoons indicate an ability to store water there, approximately 2,100 acre feet of water. The items in red are flood control projects. So this includes an overflow of the canals at approximately 1,800 north and North Logan to alleviate water that's coming from Logan and moving to the north. It provides an overflow, if you will, that goes to the west in that area. You can also see that there are a couple of projects down in the island area in brown, highlighted with number 11 and 12. Those are recreation projects that include extensions of the trail along Canyon Road between Center Street and 6th East, and also a revised and updated bridge over the Logan River near River Hollow Park, and a connection from River Hollow Park down to Crockett Avenue. Those two projects are identified in the existing city's trails and transportation plans. So I want to take a few slides to show you what the benefits are with the project. One of the project benefits, as we talked about, is flood control. This was just back in 2023. It's hard to believe that we had this situation after we just got through this last summer and winter, but we did hit flood stage, nearly 1,800 CFS. This project will improve the diversion structure so that it will be able to pass flows and debris a lot easier. And it will also be able to divert water into the Little Logan River, or canal as you want to call it, as it has done in the past. An interesting thing about this process of going through the EIS, the NEPA process goes through and provides opportunity for a lot of public input. We received public input early on in the project, and we continue to talk with constituents throughout the development of the EIS and continue to get input on the project as well. One of the key things that we heard was the ability to continue to have water flow through the Little Logan. And as such, we included reconstructing the diversion structure as part of that project. It was an important amenity to the local community. It's a local important amenity to the city with regard to parks and even the entire county, because water that's diverted from this location covers Jens Johansson Park, Merlin Olsen Park. It goes through the Cache County Fairgrounds and then onward to the zoo and Willow Park in that area. So there's a lot of benefit that comes from having water able to flow through that. We recognized that and incorporated that particular part into the project to meet those needs. I mentioned flood control is the flagship of the project, or the program. You can see this is a map. If you look at the upper colored line, that's the Logan River, and then south and east of that is the Thrushwood area. The map on the left shows the current flood conditions where there needs to be flood insurance. And the map on the right shows the reduction in flooding that occurs because of the project. So that takes approximately 28 to 35 homes out of the floodplain, which is beneficial to citizens in the area so they don't have to have that flood insurance. As we continue on to talk about the benefits, we mentioned culinary and wastewater treatment costs that can be reduced. Annually, we estimate between the three communities that are involved with the project a savings of $650,000 in water treatment costs. We estimate of $1.35 million of savings in wastewater treatment costs because of all the energy and power and chemicals that have to be added into the wastewater treatment process. That's pretty significant savings on an annual basis. The benefit life cycle of this project is estimated over 50 years. So you can take those numbers and start to see what that is over the lifetime of the project and its life cycle. Last but not least is actually just raw infrastructure costs that need to be developed and put in. If this project were not to go in, it's estimated that about $85.5 million of infrastructure and capital projects would just need to be built. That might include water pipelines, water treatment plants, additional storage. Other things like that can be offset because of the project benefits that come by using secondary water that doesn't have to be treated, power doesn't have to be put into the systems. And so it's using the right kind of water for the right kind of application. And that's the benefit that comes here. If we go to the next slide, this just indicates a little bit of what I shared earlier in the slide before, that sometimes these projects come with an increased cost up front. But as you think about the prioritization and the water usage, the capital infrastructure costs over time are lower when you look at secondary irrigation systems. So we might have an initial investment that's a little bit higher, but in the long term, we see significant savings as we saw in those numbers previously. I wanted to talk for just a second about environmental benefits. These are important, and I'll share some pictures with you in just a second. Going back to the purpose and need of the project, saving water and having securing water rights, nearly 5,400 acre-feet of water will be saved by making the system more efficient in delivery. The other thing that's important to recognize is that this project puts 25 additional cubic feet per second of water in the Logan River. Based on studies, that improves the quality of the fishery and the waterway from maybe an average or poor condition to a good condition. And we've worked with Bethany Nilsson at Utah State University as she has studied this extensively, and Darren Olson from BioWest, who was involved with the CAPA project that analyzed the Logan River. The other thing that was important, again, based upon feedback from the community, we planned through that diversion that we would build in the Logan River an additional 5 to 10 second feet of water that could be delivered to continue to keep those waterways flowing and that recreational benefit in place. And you can see some of those other benefits that exist, including sediment removal in First Dam and additional water to Great Salt Lake. I mentioned earlier the 120 miles worth of pipe that would be installed, which is a significant amount of pipe, and additionally the 2,100 acre-feet of storage.
Zan, what's the capacity of the Little Logan, like a safe capacity? Have you studied that?
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
The Little Logan, what's its capacity? Because people think 10 CFS is tiny, but I mean, how much can it actually?
So as it operates now, as it acts as a canal and diverts water into its, the canal facilities, at the diversion, it'll carry up to 90 second feet. And then like any good canal, as you get closer to the end, the capacity drops. And so it gets narrower and smaller as we go. So 90 CFS at the diversion, and then as the area continues, its capacity would decrease. Now, the Little Logan is interesting, and I'm not an expert in that particular channel, but it's been there for a lot of time, right? It's wide and not very deep, wide and shallow. And that affects the capacity of that to carry water.
Right.
And what to do. So that's a great question.
I was just curious, yeah.
Yeah.
So currently,
what is it?
right now, how much is flowing through it right now?
Great question. Why don't we jump into the next slide and talk about that for just a minute. So Currently, I went out last week and snapped some photos, not these particular photos, but the ones in the next frames. Currently, the diversion at the river is flowing at 51 cubic feet per second. Down at the Cache County Fairgrounds, there's another measuring device there. It's measuring at 6.3 cubic feet per second. And so a lot of that water that comes in the 51 cubic feet per second that's maybe being diverted gets routed into the canal system and heads north to North Logan and Hyde Park, and feeds the other irrigation canals and ditches within the city. So there's some key diversions, one of which is just west of Jens Johansson Park, where the flow significantly drops because most of that flow is diverted to serve the irrigation users to the north underneath their water right that they have.
So when you say that it will maintain a base
like a base flow
of 10,
5 to 10 second feet is the plan.
what happens when it reaches these locations? How much will be flowing at these locations?
Is that
Yeah,
throughout
where
the
is
whole
that
network
10?
or just?
Is that
So the
at
diversion, the diverting would occur at the river, that 10 second feet.
Yep.
Now currently there's a lot of water that's peeled off and goes to different ditches. So it starts at 51 and ends up at 6.5 or 6.3 down at the Cache County Fairgrounds. That's because there's irrigation diversions pulling water off. There's some water returning, different things are occurring in that regard.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're
A
okay.
lot of numbers here.
Yeah.
So currently at the diversion, it is what?
51 cubic feet
51.
per second.
But you're saying with this change is gonna make it 10?
It will reduce it in that location.
Which would make
proportionally.
this like 0.
Well, let me clarify what that is. That's why I brought these
That's
pictures.
why I'm like a little
Somebody
confused on these.
behind you, Zan, somebody behind you is trying to stand up.
But they're also currently pulling water out. Melissa,
You wanna share something,
they're pulling
Tyler?
out 50 and then pulling out 10 here and 20.
No, come up
Which
to the
they won't be
microphone.
pulling
Which
that
they
out?
won't be doing.
You lucky guy.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to.
But I am curious,
We are currently preparing a map that shows the historical flow rates for each of the different sections. So that information is forthcoming. It's going to be super helpful. There's been a lot of confusion about
Yeah, it
what
is
areas have
confusing.
what capacity. From our study, there's maybe a half mile out of 4.5 miles of Little Logan that has a capacity of over 15 cubic feet per second. So almost maybe 80 to 85% of the Little Logan, the capacity is around 5 to 10 CFS. So in the majority of it, it'll be basically about the same amount of flow. Yep.
so obviously there's water loss through evaporation and seepage throughout the, so if you pull out 10, what do you expect to be at the fairgrounds?
That's a good
On
question.
a typical July day? And I know I'm making you do math in your head, but like, would you expect 5 at the fairgrounds? Would you expect 8? Would you, I mean,
It's so hard to tell.
I
because,
understand, but
yeah, we would
give me
have
a
to look at
range.
that. And the other thing is that, it doesn't preclude any future projects where we come in line. Like if we feel like we're losing all that water and we're putting in that 5 to 10 CFS and we feel like there's a spot where there's a lot of water loss, we could come back in and line that area and make sure that flow keeps going downstream. So, because
would that funding be included in, I'm assuming no?
we have not included
Right.
it under this project.
So we'd have to find a way to fund that in the
Correct.
future.
Yeah, but there's plenty of.
Are you willing to give me a rough estimate of what you think might be at the fairgrounds with 10
Not
at
right
the
now.
diversion?
Not right
That'd
now.
be-
Can you get that for me?
Actually, I think that might be difficult because there's not enough information to determine that exactly.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to
I'm
get
going to
this.
give you.
That's why I
I'm
said
gonna give
rough
you some
estimate.
relative pictures. I want to show you pictorially what this looks like and give you a sense of what this is.
I like
Okay?
numbers, Zan. I like
The other-
spreadsheets.
Yeah, that's what we live in, right? As engineers and spreadsheets. So what I want to recognize here, as Kyler mentioned, there are improvements. If entities want to improve the channel to reduce seepage, they can make that investment. The other item that can occur is if other entities want to dedicate additional water rights that they have legally to go down this channel, that's perfectly fine. The capacity of the channel will not change than from what it is right now. It's not being enclosed at all in any way, shape, or form under the proposed alternative, which is a misconception that's been out there in the public. So I just want to clarify
On both
that.
proposed alternatives.
Under both proposed alternatives.
First dam and the Crockett, neither.
Not in a significant way. There may have been some small pipe areas just because of some pumping and other capacity that needed to be taken care of, but it's relatively
So
small.
theoretically, Logan could allow their shares to just keep flowing through there because we have shares in Crockett.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. If Logan wanted to dedicate shares to go through that, that's your prerogative.
Theoretically,
Because you have,
Theoretically.
you have legal right to those, okay? So
Could you-
the important part is the project is trying to provide the opportunity for those things to continue as they are now, or enhancements to be made if the city or others elect to do so.
You said small areas could maybe be piped. Could
In
you
the-
better give us an idea of what those small areas?
So in the Crockett alternative, which is the other alternative that was proposed, there would be a pump house that would pressurize the entire system. We would have to enclose a small section, let's say, I'm just going to guess 150 feet to be able to get the infrastructure built, and that would be located in River Hollow Park. So if you can see that, we're trying to create a trail through River Hollow Park to get down to Crockett Avenue. We've got to put a pump house in under that alternative. So it gets quite tight. And so there may be a need to pipe a small portion of it. But I will say this, that under the current alternative and the proposed alternative that we're looking at, there's no change to the Little Logan. That's all I'm going to say. There's no change to it. It just stays intact in how it is. Any changes can be made otherwise.
You mean to the route, to the volume?
The shape, the route, the alignment, to the vegetation.
What about
you
the
know.
flow?
The flow, by legal right, that the irrigation companies have, can be diverted where it needs to go.
So
Again,
it could be dried up, I mean, all summer long.
the project, because they understand the importance of it, is dedicating 5 to 10 second feet of their water right to this.
In perpetuity?
It's theirs, yeah.
In perpetuity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the intent there is that that's given. That's a pretty big deal if you think about the costs of water and what it can do. That's a sacrifice by the irrigation companies and those that hold the water rights because of the importance of the project.
So Zan, instead of being the canal and the Little Logan being the vehicle for the canals that feed houses and go elsewhere, those will all be piped, and what will be left is the 10 CFS that is dedicated to that flow. So they're basically changing the way the system works by putting the majority of it under some kind of a pressurized system that would service all of the service area of Crockett Irrigation Company.
I just want to recognize and clarify again, though, that the significant flow amount that everybody is understanding, right? We talk about 50 second feet being diverted.
Right.
Once you get west of Jens Johansson Park, that flow is not that high. It's much lower because of the significance of the canal that's diverted to go to the north.
And
so
that,
I want to try to make sure people don't get fixated on that number.
And so that diversion that exists today will continue to divert but into a system,
No.
or it will be someplace else?
The diversion, that's a great question, and I did clarify that. The diversion point will be at First Dam.
Okay,
So there would be a connection made there to pressurize the system to not have to pump it and use ongoing power costs.
So why is it that the diversion the current diversion needs to be redone
It's in poor condition
if it's not going to be used anymore?
because we want to provide the opportunity for the Little Logan to continue to flow. It's in poor condition and gets plugged up quite often. Logan City has to go down and pull branches and limbs and trees out of there.
So if you're diverting at First Dam, how much flow is coming down the Logan River before the diversion? And then how much is in the Logan River after the diversion?
Great question. So that upper reach between First Dam and the diversion, because we're pulling water out at the First Dam, will be decreased by whatever that diversion amount is. The one thing, again, that the project is dedicating is 25 CFS, or cubic feet per second, to continue down the river.
But do they have the right to the entire flow of the river?
The
Crockett Avenue?
Crockett Avenue, no. No, there's other water right holders that are on the river.
So do the water right holders that currently exist on the river have right to the entire flow of the river?
Collectively or?
Collectively.
They have, there's paper water and then there's water.
You got someone coming up behind you.
I understand that part. I do understand.
And I understand that.
But,
Yeah.
and I do understand that, but.
The quick answer is yes. When we get down to like Logan, Blacksmith Fork, Trapper Park area, the Logan River is pretty much dry. They have the ability to take all that water.
The Logan River is?
The Logan River,
Okay.
yep.
Because historically, and I'm sort of asking these in a way but historically, the water has only been considered, it had to have a beneficial use.
Correct.
And flowing down a stream was never a beneficial use until very recently.
Correct. Yep.
And so it's an interesting concept when you think about it, that we enjoy the flow of the river and the flow in the canals.
Yep.
But it's technically, according to Utah state law, somebody else's water.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. It is water that is other folks have water rights to it, and it has been utilized as a public benefit or a public amenity, and that's what it's been recognized as for this long. But in reality, these folks are the ones who have the water rights. So
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of benefit coming from the irrigation side to dedicate an in-stream flow that would make sure that we do have water in the Logan River below Trapper Park, and to make sure that there is base flow into Little Logan. All of this project is basically making a flexible operation system that could be changed in the future. And like right now, there's not really many options of how to operate this or how to change things in the future. And us putting in this infrastructure would allow so many changes. And, you know, like Zan said, if there's other water that becomes available that people want to get dedicated to either the Logan River or the Little Logan, they're more than welcome to, and all of the infrastructure would be in place to make sure that that works, that the accounting is there, that the measurement is there. So that, from our perspective, it really takes us a big step. Does it cover everybody's needs and everybody's wants? We can't make that happen, but it puts a huge step forward, and then it allows that to continue to expand and change in the future.
That's interesting.
Can I ask a question? So you're leaving the water in the river for, I think you say 14 miles?
Correct.
I'm assuming most of it's coming out at the West River pump station?
Correct.
To go into the storage?
Yep. Cutler tailwater.
What do you expect to be in the Logan River below that?
That's Cutler tailwater. So basically from Cutler back, it's
probably sitting at that elevation, isn't it?
Hardly moving.
It's sitting what?
At that elevation due to the dam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's about static pool level at that point.
Okay.
Yep. And that, recognize too, that that's another amenity that the irrigation company the project is planning to do to allow the water to run through those 14 miles of the Logan River and improve the quality of it, and then use pumps and energy to get it back in and use it as storage. Yep. So again, it's a flexibility item that Kyler brought up that I think is hugely important.
So, okay.
And Ernesto has a question after you.
Okay.
We're gonna sit here for a while.
That's
Ernesto,
okay.
go first.
Our time's yours.
We received an email where it says that in the impact statement, it mentions that if we have an extreme drought year or season, that the 10 CFS that would flow through the diversion would actually, I guess, it'd be the decision of the canal to allow it or not to allow it. Is that correct?
That has not been defined. So any agreements regarding any water use or dedication of that would happen during the design phase of the project. Right now, we're just in the planning phase. So we would have to request funds from NRCS, move into the design phase. That's where we would set up all of our design criteria, agreements. That's where all of the legally binding agreements would happen with all of the different groups that would be connected or impacted by the project. So that's where we would have time to say, you know, in an extreme drought, we're going to provide X amount of water, or there's a schedule or something, just like is done for the Kimball Decree.
So follow up to that very same question. What is this year, for example, considered?
This is an extreme year.
So in today's type of situation, water situation, if what I asked about was true, then there would be no flow through the.
That has
the
not been
Logan.
defined, no. So there's still room for discussion from the stakeholders, and that would be a point of talking between each of the project stakeholders, so Logan City, the irrigation company, and the other municipalities, because you're balancing, you know, secondary use that people could be putting on their lawns and gardens versus this public amenity use going through the Little Logan. So those are all key pieces that need to be discussed and worked out during the design phase. So yeah, I guess to answer the question, there's been no determination of exactly what that would look like. That would still come in the future.
So that 10 cubic feet per second could go up or down?
Depending
on that potential agreement.
We're saying 5 to 10, and then there's room in the agreement to work out the details.
If the city were to, or an entity were to put their water rights in, then that's secured by them.
Yeah.
Right? It's all worked out by the agreements.
Can you repeat that?
If the city, let's say the Logan City puts their shares that are in Crockett and say we want them to flow through on the Little Logan, then that's whatever you put in is there.
Yep.
You manage that because that's your water.
Except if everyone is in a drought condition, everybody's water is less. So it wouldn't be a consistent, you wouldn't say, my one share is 1 CFS, it will always be 1 CFS.
Correct.
Because if it's in a drought, it could be a half.
That's right.
And that's all based on the Kimball Decree, the
That's
adjudication, and
correct.
how the river is governed.
The overlying water.
Okay, my question goes further downstream.
Okay.
So you're
Buckle
going to pump out of the Logan,
Yes.
put it in the
Lagoons.
theoretically. I don't know when you get it back out again, what happens to it, but that removes water from the river that goes into the Bear River, which becomes part of the dam and the electric generation, and also moves into the Bear River Irrigation Company in Box Elder County. How do you account for the fact that they also have water rights and expect a certain flow? And how do you say that you're saving water other than you're putting it in the lagoons?
That's a good question. So basically, any water that would be taken back out of the pump station would be subject to the water right. We can't pump out any more than they have water rights for. So they have consumptive water rights for up to 140 CFS, the Crockett Group. And so we would be taking as much of that as we can at the upstream side, leaving the in-stream flow up to 25 CFS, and then taking that additional 25. But none of that we would be pumping back in would be going above and beyond the consumptive water rights of the Crockett Group. Does that answer
On
your
a good
question?
year.
Yes, obviously the 140 CFS is nowhere near realistic on a year like this.
But, okay, so you're pumping it into that is your storage and your
Yep.
savings?
Yep.
So
For late
nothing
season use.
additional is actually going to the Great Salt Lake?
Not necessarily. There will still be opportunity if the ag water users decide not to take their water. There are programs in place now that could be pushed down to the Great Salt Lake. So again, it comes back to this, we're setting the infrastructure, it's giving flexibility. If groups decide that they don't want to use that water for the agricultural beneficial use, then that can be sent further downstream to the Great Salt Lake.
I would add to that is the efficiencies of the system will lessen the demand.
Yep.
And that provides greater opportunity as well, or greater probability for water to go downstream.
And those efficiencies are coming from less seepage and less
Correct.
evaporation.
Yep.
Have you calculated what you expect through seepage and evaporation in the old sewer lagoons?
Yes, we have. We've taken that into account.
And is that calculated into your savings number?
Correct.
It is?
Yep.
Okay. Ernesto?
Yeah, good question.
So pardon my ignorance. I think you called it adjudication, which I'm assuming is who claims however percentage of the water.
Yeah.
Is that an actual percentage? And is there a priority of who gets the water first?
Yep.
Or is it an actual number of CFS?
It is a schedule. It's called the Kimball Decree. It's public. You're welcome to go take a look at it. And it details who gets what amount of water at what flow rates in the Logan River.
So it's not a percentage, it's an actual number.
It
It's
is
a percentage.
It's a percentage of the total. So they split it up between all of the different groups, and so that everybody kind of takes a little bit less
But it is 100%.
Of the river.
of the river. Correct.
You add them all
In a
up.
good year.
But at the current flow, yeah.
It's always technically 100% of what's in
Yeah.
there. Just some years that's more water than.
Yeah.
Good questions. Other questions?
You can keep presenting. I've got more, but we'll get to them. Maybe you'll cover them and then we'll get to mine.
All right, I'm just going to share a couple of slides with you. This is just a couple of things to give you a visual of what different flow rates look like. So Kyler and the group measured the flow at Central Park, at Merlin Olson Park. That picture on the left is at 5.5 second feet. The picture in the center is a measured flow at 7 CFS at Jens Johansson Park. That's quite a bit less than we would see today, but that's actually a 7 CFS flow at Jens Johansson. And then that's a flow of 9.2 CFS down at the fairgrounds at that area. So we can go through and thumb through the next slides just quickly, just to give an explanation of where things are at. So again, these photos were taken last week, with 51 cubic feet per second being diverted out of the Logan River, and then 6.3 CFS at the fairgrounds. So the picture on the left is at River Hollow Park, looking to the east. You can see the flow there in between the vegetation and areas there. The next picture is Jens Johansson Park. That would probably be approximately 51 second feet as well. And then when you get down to Merlin Olson Park, that flow has been diminished or decreased significantly because the water has been routed in the canal to the north. And then that's where that flows. Currently, we all see it. There's a couple of young ladies out there having a great time, just enjoying the summer day.
Maybe flip back and forth between this slide and the upstream and the other one, so that you can see the difference between Jens Johansson at 7 versus the 50.
Yeah,
That's the difference that we would be seeing in that one stretch.
It's probably, I would say, similar to what we see in Merlin Olson.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
So the next set of slides just continue on to show a little bit more perspective. Another picture at Merlin Olson Park. There's a picture just west of 200 East. Now one might ask themselves, when you look at Merlin Olson Park, you see what appears to be more flow. There's ripples, there's little waves and other things like that. When you get just to the west side of 200 East, it becomes quiet, slow moving. It doesn't look rapid, it's smooth, and you would say, well, there's not as much flow there. That's actually not true. It is the same amount of flow at that location. It's just the
children haven't
conditions of
put
the
rock
flow.
dams.
I'm sorry?
The children haven't put rock dams.
Right. Can I make a request, Dan? On the next set of photos, can you stand in the river so I can get a judge on height? In every single photo, no, every photo, just stand in the middle so I know how deep it is.
It's hitting on your leg.
No, I want pictures of Zan in the river.
Merlin Olson is often about 8 to 10 inches deep. Is typically what I've seen, and it's generally between 5 and 7.
So is that knee high for Zan? I'm just.
Is that again?
I'll be honest with you, it's probably about 4 inches deep.
5 to 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, as I watch those kids play in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've been there. in
It's
the
really
summer.
wide there. It has eroded.
Which is nice for the kids.
It's eroded over the last 50 years a lot.
It's about this deep because that's how much my dog's feet get.
So it's up to your dog's knees.
Dog knees.
Sorry, Zan.
This flow is in Merlin Olson today, approximately?
5. I measured it last week with for Gordon. It was 5 CFS, like 4.6. So.
Do you measure that by standing in the river?
I stood on the bridge. Yeah.
The picture on the right just gives you an indication. Just further downstream of the picture in the center is where some additional flow comes off of the Logan Northern Canal, or excuse me, off of the Crockett Canal, and it flows down through a power plant and the mill, a central mill. So that's a return flow. So this is the dynamics of water rights changing the flow up and down as we go down the reach a little bit.
So that brings up one more question. There'll probably be more than just one more, but
Probably.
so historically, the theater has been cooled by the flow of the canal.
Okay.
And I don't know at what CFS that works the most efficiently, but I assume we will be maintaining that level of flow to make that system continue to work efficiently?
That's, which theater are we talking about?
Ellen Eccles.
Eccles Theater.
The which one?
Eccles.
Eccles? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they have a water right and ability to use that, then that would be,
Have to provide
that would
that.
be, yeah, there.
Paul?
My understanding is it would still be maintained. There's actually a pump that pumps it over to Echoes and then back on the return load. So I don't think it's fully dependent on a level of it. There's a little stilling basin there that it takes out of. And so yes, my understanding it would still be maintained.
Okay.
As long as there's water in there.
It can be, and that can actually be incorporated into the design of the project.
Yeah,
too. It wouldn't be that difficult to put
Secondary
a
connection.
loop in
Yeah.
and allow it to do what it does now. That's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we need to maintain that.
I think the important question that would come up during the design phase, all of these questions, all of these details, that's where we get into it, is in the design phase. And so we would look at, what's the current state, what's our current level of service, what irrigation company is providing the water, and then we can work that.
Well, I do think that there was some conversation that the EIS set certain limitations on future choices. And so I don't, that's why I'm asking these types of questions, because I don't know whether indeed it does set limitations on future choices, because you picked X and maybe Y is part of one of the things you really wanted, but it's not in X. So you can't do it. And I don't know if that's true or not true.
Okay.
I think per Kyler's point that he made earlier, I think it was really valid that we've created a system here under this alternative that's highly flexible to meet a lot of different needs. Can it meet every need, as Kyler said? No. There's going to be something out there that's not exactly how it is right now, but the flexibility of the system to continue to serve the needs and the purposes of the project and the community are, again, public comment has weighed in on this, and we've adapted it to address those items in the way that we can underneath the program to continue forward with the project to benefit the community. So
Okay.
that's, I would say that. So just a couple more photos if you're interested. These are photos at the fairgrounds. The photo on the left is the actual measurement structure where you would have seen 6 CFS. And then as you continue further down, you can see the flow, what it looks like there, a little further down the stretch in the center. And then just west of Willow Park, you can see the flow there in the river. So those are just some pictorial items to show you what the aesthetics look like, what the potential recreation opportunities look like there, because I know that that's been a concern. I will state that we received approximately 550 comments in the final comment period. Let's keep going, Paul. Right there is a summary of the bigger text indicates the more percentage of comments that were received for the project. So we took all the comments, we split them into 57 different areas, which we respond to. You can see that the top 3 are the Little Logan flows, the costs, and the Little Logan classification, and then the Great Salt Lake. So per the project, we've outlined a lot of those items and they've been addressed. We have to address all of the comments either individually or as a group, and most of that work is complete now. I'm getting that done to finalize the environmental impact statement.
Remind me what total estimated cost was?
Total estimated cost is a little over $300 million.
And is that estimated in today's dollars?
We actually inflated that for a couple of years because we knew construction dollars and construction wouldn't start for a few more years, so we include some inflation factors on that. One of the things to recognize, I mentioned earlier, the different programs in the project, like flood control is at 100%, ag water is at 75%, and recreation is at 50%. The estimated project match on that total construction cost is about 11%. So about $33 million of the 300 and something million would be the participants or sponsor, co-sponsors cost as the project is outlined correct now. So about 89% funded. And we are looking at other avenues to find matching funds through the state of Utah that can help with some of the offset, some of those additional funds as well, because 33 million or 30 million is still a significant amount of money.
And what is this split even amongst the sponsors, or?
It'd be distributed according to the benefit that each is receiving.
Yep.
So if we
a
wanted to
very
improve our
simple
trail
example
access,
is the trails that would be enhanced in Logan
1.5.
would be the 50% cost match would come from Logan City, right? That's a pretty straightforward item.
Right, so if we wanted to do that trail on Canyon Road from Center Street to 600 East, we'd be expecting Logan to pay roughly $1.5 million of that.
About how much?
$1.5 million.
Yeah, you're looking at those costs, yeah,
Right.
you found those in that, that's correct.
Okay.
So
But none of
It's on
this
page
is
2 of
funded
the one
yet.
with the grass. Right,
None of-
I understand.
Yeah, okay.
I understand. I'm just,
And Russ is
Theoretically.
Russ is pretty good about finding other funding.
Other
that can match
grants.
with that.
Yeah. We could match that grant with another grant, so.
Yeah, it just, you can't do federal with federal. It's got to be federal with state, or federal with something else, but you can whittle that down.
this is just a summary of the comments and the categories that they came in. Again, this is the top 5. You can see where those comments address or what those interests were in those different areas. And then the next slide is the end. So.
And I'll just say that because the Little Logan
step the microphone. Sorry, in case there's anyone online watching.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Because the Little Logan had so many comments, that's why we're making the map. So that should hopefully dispel a lot of the confusion, concern about that. I think it will give a much clearer picture of what's currently happening today and how it could be expected to change. Just the flow rate, obviously the physical characteristics of the Little Logan channel would all remain the same.
But the classification is not our responsibility. It's
That is not the
responsibility
project's
of the state.
responsibility, and it is not the city's responsibility.
It's the state. Okay.
So, good question.
Other questions for Zan and, sorry, remind me. Kyler. If you guys don't have some, I have a couple still, so.
Go for it.
Ernesto, got anything?
Nope.
Melissa?
I might, but go ahead.
Okay. These ones are more financial. You've got a little table on your second paper here.
Yeah.
That shows the estimated secondary user rates with the connection rate. That's assuming, so this would be the monthly bill to a user at a 50% adoption or 100% adoption, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason we did it,
Thank you.
The reason we did it this way is because the feedback that we got from all of the municipalities was that we're not going to do a mandate. We're not going to we're not going to mandate that everybody who is within that service area is required to connect. If there's a change there, we can assume the 100% adoption rate. And if everybody connects on, the cost is shared between more people, and everybody has cheaper water.
Does that change the feasibility of the project as a whole?
No.
Okay.
No. So
does that change?
I guess another way to state that would be that the monthly cost would absorb any of that difference. So the number of people that connect, that is what would absorb the remainder.
Because the infrastructure is still installed.
Yep.
Right.
And
so
this is-
that's assuming you're going to install pipes everywhere on
Yes.
this.
Yep.
No one's going to want to live in Logan when you're installing these pipes, can I be
know.
honest? It's every road in the city.
It will be phased. It will be phased.
Yeah, so is Google Fiber, and it's still a nightmare.
Yeah. We understand. We understand.
What was that?
So it's almost done.
Almost. And then, let's start this next.
And let's do this.
Roll right into this.
Yeah.
This would
Good
be worse
question.
than.
This will be so much worse than Google Fiber.
The other thing I'll say is that this is riding on the assumption that we don't get any other funding. So if we were to get some other match funding on that brings those rates down even more.
Sure.
So
A couple more questions on that. My understanding is that Hyde Park and possibly North Logan already have a mandate for secondary water connections
have
if it's
for new
available.
build.
For new build. Okay. I have family along the Wasatch Front that are on secondary water. What is the anticipated schedule that would be turned on throughout the year?
it would be the same as the irrigation flow that we currently have,
Which
April
is?
15th through I think it's
April
September
15th?
30th. Yeah,
April 15th through September
I
30th?
believe that's correct.
April 1st.
April 1st. I stand corrected.
October 31st.
Yeah.
How much does that change on heavy drought years? Because I know, I get family that, you know, they're like, oh, we got cut off early this year, which I understand, but I'm just curious.
I think it's too hard to say exactly on that. I will say that the benefit that we have is the storage. The lagoons down at the bottom would definitely extend our late season. We would have much less cutoff early.
But you'd expect some flexibility on that.
Correct.
Shut off date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like any other second.
Do you know, and this is outside your expertise probably, do you know average expected cost to a resident to hook? Like, so if we say, okay, you can hook up a secondary, what's that going to cost?
It's a good question.
To get somebody to come out and hook up on, well, sure, but do we know what that?
The meter connection to the home is included in the project cost.
Okay.
But the question is, how do I get it connected to my
sprinkler
existing
system?
sprinkler system? And
Yeah.
And I've seen ranges
from
from 300 up to 5,000.
It's like connecting to Google Fiber.
I doubt it would be in the 5,000 range, but it depends on where your sprinkler system starts.
My house it would be.
But it's not included, like, so with Google Fiber,
Yeah.
it's included in your monthly bill. They don't charge you anything to hook up.
Yeah.
It would not be included in the monthly bill here. There would be,
They charge you
system
if you
would
don't do
provide-
it right then. Like if I decided now, after they already came around.
I
and did that.
hooked up a few months after they came through and they didn't charge me.
Huh. Okay.
Never knows that I use Google Fiber. But it's not included in this monthly bill. You'd have to hire an outside company, a sprinkler
Yes.
company to come through and hook up.
Yep.
Okay. This one's more for you, Paul. We're talking, there's been a lot of numbers. We're talking water savings, I don't remember the exact amount, to the culinary system. And then we will have to build out, you know, the really basic graph here, which I understand, you know, the numbers. We're gonna have to build out less infrastructure for culinary water if this project goes forward.
What's your question?
Is that true? Because isn't our base, like we build water flow, we've talked about this, but we build water flow for culinary, not for not for fire flow, not for sprinkler systems. Would we in the future actually have to change our minimum storage, our minimum pipe size, like, or is that gonna be the same because we're building for fire flow, which is always our heaviest possible use?
It's obviously very conceptual at this point.
Sure.
Couldn't tell you which projects or which size.
Right, I understand that.
But I would say there is potential for less infrastructure to be required if there's less demand on the system. Now, there are three main components, obviously. Demand, fire, and storage are what we size the system on. And so that demand component will be reduced. Fire doesn't always dictate, but often does, especially on the, call it smaller pipes in the distribution system. It doesn't always dictate like our storage tanks and our big transmission
Our
lines.
storage and transmission aren't based on fire flow.
That's typically not the driving factor. It's one of the three, but it depends on where you are in the system, whether it be the supply wells, the storage tanks, or the distribution system. Which of those three really drive the day, if you will, or the size. So yes, I think there is potential for reduction in infrastructure. To tell you exactly like what
Right, I understand
how
what
much it
conceptual.
is, we had to make estimates and say, we think it's this percentage or this amount.
Roughly $600,000 a year, give or take.
It was based off of
Roughly.
the master plan. It was based off the current master plan.
There was,
keep going, Dan.
No, we did actually work with the engineering company that was doing the city's master plan during this process and had them evaluate what the capital infrastructure needs would be if this system went in. And they said, basically, you're taken care of right now. You would have to maintain your system, but capital expansion would not necessarily be necessary. That was the outcome of that.
But we don't need a capital expansion for a few decades after what we're doing right now anyway, correct?
It depends. Because right now your summer demand is really high. But if we put the secondary system in, your summer demand goes away and your system is
But we're not gonna be,
uniform.
with our Canyon Road line, we're not gonna be close to maxing that out in the next.
Not that line, no.
Not in that area. Yeah.
Correct. And I'll admit, early on in the project, as they were making these assumptions of future infrastructure costs, those sort of things, I was probably, I don't know, a loud voice for being, I don't know, making less estimated savings. The project identified more in working with the master plan and that sort of thing. And I said, I don't necessarily want to assume all of those are accurate, and we backed off those estimates a little bit.
So you're comfortable
fair?
with, you're comfortable with that number in there that's, I think it was $650K a year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've also worked with
can I,
the, sorry.
no, I'm gonna ask a follow-up question if that's okay.
on that 6, I think a big part of that is, Kyler just mentioned summer demand versus winter demand. It's huge. If you look at our winter base flow, I mean, we go up by, exponentially, almost 3 or 4 times at least. And majority of our culinary water cost is energy and pumping, and that all happens in the summer. And so that's where a huge part for Logan City, that reduction in cost is. If you can take that peak out,
you're just
we're likely pumping a lot less, spending less energy.
So we're not drastically reducing infrastructure costs, but we are reducing.
That's a big part of the
operations cost.
I'm talking about the annual operations cost, correct.
And it means less groundwater pumped, right? Because that's where a lot of the summer supply comes from.
I'm assuming less maintenance as well. It's running less.
Which kind of takes me to my next, I don't even know how to answer this question.
More questions?
I have one more. I figured why not go for 10 o'clock again? This is my last one, I think. I'm kidding, it was sarcastic.
So it's I was in a meeting till 9:45 last night, so.
You would love to stay longer.
I'm trying to think of how to ask this. Our culinary water rates pay for our water department, right?
Yes.
So what we charge our users for their water pay for our employees and our trucks, but they also pay for the infrastructure. If we're suddenly not getting 4 times the income in June, July, and August, what does that do to our demand for the employees, but also what does that do to our employee and our rolling stock, right? Like how do we run a water department business if we're cutting our revenue that heavily? This is an internal city question, but I'm curious if,
because it's not the first time it's been brought up.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know that I have a perfect answer, other than there would be a reduction in revenue. Now,
which would likely to some extent have to result in a rate increase because people are using less. So to some extent,
if we maintain the exact same operating costs, yes.
But if your operating costs are less, you don't need as much revenue.
Yep. Yeah, but you're still going to have just as many meters that need to be checked and read, and just as many pipes that need to be fixed. Like we're not reducing miles of pipe.
Digital.
What was that?
That's all digital anyway.
It's all digital anyway. Gemini will do it for us.
And Mike, your question.
Right, like there's a lot of work that goes on in maintaining our system, and part of that is not going to go away. Sure, our pumping costs might go down, but we suddenly have less revenue, but the same employees to maintain the same miles of pipe, the same number of connections, right? And how do we...
And your question and the point you're making is exactly why I pushed to be less aggressive in those estimates, for that reason. They were a lot higher.
Is that rolled into this expected savings?
Have been adjusted.
Yes, and they were adjusted for that reason.
Okay, so that is incorporated into what we're expecting to save on costs.
Now again, they're estimates.
Sure.
So we don't know exactly what that
estimates are always accurate.
Always.
Never
But
wrong.
yes, that was a huge part of my concern with those estimates and why they were reduced fairly significantly.
So you're going to hate this question publicly.
Well, thank you.
Do you expect there to probably have to be a change in rates?
For this project?
If this project goes through, do you think water rates would have to go up to cover operating costs in your department?
I would have to say I don't know.
Okay. That's a valid answer.
I don't think I can answer that.
That's a valid answer. I'm just curious.
We'd have to dig into the fixed and the,
I
and
understand
the
that.
variable costs and see where some trimming could be done.
Well, plus time. I mean, this is not going to happen tomorrow.
And I understand
No,
that. I
yeah.
just know that he's in it every day and I'm not, so.
But I don't have confidence either direction.
That's okay. That's a valid answer.
One comment that I would add to that is, it's important to look at the overall water bill for an individual, and what that looks like. To the point of that one graph with the blue and orange line, what that does look like. What does it look like now? We sort of indicate a little higher rate, perhaps, and then as you get down the road, because of the different costs that come up, because of capital improvements or other operational costs, that delta gets much different. So long-term savings, definitely you're going to see that come about with the second system. So there's going to be a difference in the beginning as to
But some of the long-term savings in culinary water allows for, I'll say that G word, growth. So it would also allow us to thoughtfully add to our system with people.
more users.
Children. There are children.
Just one thought I had on the infrastructure and the future costs. We have projects come for a variety of reasons. Some of them are growth and they're undersized. A lot of them are just deteriorating infrastructure. And so it's going to happen regardless of that.
And yeah, that's why a lot of our costs aren't going to change purely because it's a secondary system.
A lot of our capital projects are.
I don't expect us to have a water department that's half the size because we still have 150-year-old pipes all over the place.
Agreed.
So,
Good questions.
Other questions from the
So
council?
what, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, this seems like, I mean, a huge expense. Even though, yes, it's not coming from city dollars, it's still our tax dollars because it's federal, right? And so we're still paying for it. $308 million. Plus what's the upkeep every year is like 2 million?
Approximately 5.5 million.
5.5 million.
I think was what.
But that will mostly be paid through the users.
It's in
That
that
will
realm.
be paid to the users.
Let me, I'll put it into context a little bit. If we think about the current water project that the city's undertaking at this point in time, that's about 22,500 feet of pipe being installed at a figure of about $47 million.
So 4-ish miles?
4 miles. This is 120 miles of infrastructure being installed, plus flood control projects to overflow the water from the canals on 1800 North, plus the recreational components as well. So it does feel like a lot of money, but if we think about it on scale compared to what we're familiar with, it's not. It looks big, it feels big because it is big, but relatively the cost is not.
And I get that, but I understand it's big, but it's for secondary water, where we're trying to tell people to save water and plant wise, and we live in a desert and all of this, and we're spending this much for secondary water for people to water their yards.
The other perspective
really
I might
necessary?
offer is the money has already been allocated to this funding, so there's no turning it back to people. We have an opportunity to take it and bring it here, or we can let it go somewhere else. That's another perspective to consider.
Okay.
I don't love use it or lose it.
And am I looking at this map correctly, that it really doesn't affect the east side of Logan?
At least our tax dollars are working here.
And why is that? Just
Because
because
the
of
current
funding?
service area is below that.
Is below that.
Yeah, there's a limitation. So currently, the Logan Heights Parks Smith Canal or Cache Highline Water Association runs the upper canal that feeds the upper part of the community.
And that's not getting touched.
No, they've got some existing pipelines in place and have some pressurization they've put in, but the hydraulics of that system haven't been changed to be fully pressurized.
Okay.
I'll mention, in addition to your question on the for secondary water, that's definitely the majority of it. Agriculture, secondary water is the
Same amount of
majority.
water is coming out.
As public works, we're not just water. A huge part of that is stormwater and flood control. And even though it's not 50% or majority of the project, impact to the city, it's a big part of the project. We will have to address and do something for flood control if this project goes through or not. This is one way to get it paid for without city money.
Okay.
And that's a big thing to me.
Yeah.
You bring up a really valid point about, are there alternative methods to save water and prolong what we're doing rather than building millions of dollars in infrastructure? It's, utopian, if we think about it utopianly, that would be great. What's the practicality of that? What does that look like with full city adoption? And I ask myself, and I don't know the answer, but how much would it cost to make that conversion? To get the same benefit out of it. I don't know the answer, but it would be an interesting number. It could be more, it could be less. So there's a conversation to be had there that the municipality can look at ways to help conserve water through billing rate structures, charge more for more demanding water, and that helps people conserve.
Metering, everything will be metered. Which I mean, if we get metering for all the ag users, that's a huge benefit. I think you start to see some conservation there.
They've studied that and do see just the fact of having a meter brings education to the table.
So
would all the residential homes be metered.
Correct.
And they'd be paying
Every
per
connection would
water
be-
usage.
Every connection would be metered.
Whether it's paid by water usage or not, typical systems just pay a flat rate per month. So that's a consideration, but that's not been determined yet.
Okay.
And I will say there's been criticism of the project that we haven't looked at like demand reduction or water conservation. All of this, I'm going to say it again, all of this is putting in a system that allows those decisions to be made in their proper orders, right? If it's conservation of water, if it's reduction in use, those are decisions that should be made by entities that own or have water rights. So we are designing the system to be able to take what is currently being done or what state code is for residential connections. But all of this is putting in a system that would allow flexible operations into the future that could continue to compound on this infrastructure improvements.
So Zan, next step.
Next step. So we are completing the EIS document at this point in time, responding to all of the comments. Those will be reviewed by the project team, and then the final EIS will be prepared and will be presented to NRCS for their signature. So there are a couple of things that take place. There are watershed agreements that the sponsor and co-sponsor enter into, that they are supportive of the alternative and moving forward with the project. As we've talked with NRCS about that agreement and what that looks like, Craig has been part of those conversations and been learning about that and trying to understand that a little bit more. The intent is that it shows a commitment to move forward into design with the project, but there's still an off-ramp after design is completed. So we're completing the first milestone, and then we would request funding to move forward with the second milestone of design. And then after design is complete, agreements are entered into again, and then funding for construction can be requested. So we're at step one of really three.
But all of the next two steps are very dependent upon the federal government's ability to fund
federal government
projects.
funding that's available. The other thing that we talked about a little earlier was the phasing of the project. One portion of the project might be ready to move forward sooner than another, so that could be funded. You could ask for funding on the trails. You could ask for funding on the flood control aspects of the project. And so there's
But you'd have
different
to have
things that
design first. You have to
Correct.
design
You have
the
to-
entire project before you
You'd
can
ask
do that.
you'd ask for design funds for those particular parts or the entire thing. There's some flexibility that you work at as you work with NRCS and the funds. 300 million is a lot of money at one time, and so it will be a phased project if it goes forward. It would have to be.
Okay.
Two short questions. If everything went smoothly, what's your estimated total timeline for the project?
We're figuring probably a 10-year construction window, and probably
10 years to construct, or
No.
done in 10 years?
We would be done in probably, I'm going to say 13 to 15 years, because 3 to 5 years, 3 years probably to get the designs ready to go.
Is that 13 years of digging up our roads to put in pipes? Is that
Different phases.
I'm just teasing.
Just in line with Google Fiber.
You know, this is maybe a naive question. What is our role as a council? I get asked all the time, are you supporting this project? Do you not support this project? Where do you feel on it? And honestly, I don't even, my understanding is I don't have a vote anytime soon. We get updates occasionally, but what is the council's role going forward?
Yeah, I would say, and maybe Rich can help me here to make sure, but when it comes time to sign financial agreements for construction or phasing or our commitment on the match, council's role would be to allocate that money to this project.
If we love this project, can we push it through faster as a council? And if we hate this project, do we have any way to change that? There's a blunt way to ask the question because I get asked all the time.
I don't know about pushing it through faster. I think that's going to be dependent on federal funding and
Sure.
applications there and our support of that. Second part, to slow it down or whatever it was, it would be that allocation of funds, I would say.
Okay.
If council did not fund it, we wouldn't have the match money to.
And when you say fund it, you're talking the portions that require
Our
a match.
Correct.
So the trails and but
regardless of what,
hypothetically, portions of this project that are 100% funded, by the NRCS could go forward with or without any council input.
I believe, council would need to accept that grant and appropriate that money still, even if it's just a grant. 100% grant without.
Well, I mean, but it's not coming into the city to construct
It's not
it.
necessarily full city.
What was that, Rich?
I don't know that we're receiving the grant.
I say the grant's not coming to us.
true.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but whatever part that we play, we would.
so the only part we really play is whether we require our users to hook up and whether we want to fund portions of the project that require a match
And
from the
whether we
city.
allow them to dig up 100 and some miles of road.
Of public right of way, yep.
So,
So we could say, no, you can't dig up our roads and put pipes. I'm just asking. I'm not saying I'm going to say that. I'm just asking.
but
I get asked from people all the time, why are you guys supporting this question, that question? And every time I literally go, well, I've never voted or signed on any. I don't understand actually what the council's role in this project at this point
well,
is.
Logan City is a partner.
It's a co-sponsor.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a partner in the project that, now this is me speaking as a water district person, so I'm trying to interpret it that way. My understanding was that all of the partners have agreed that the project that is sponsored by Crockett as probably the major motivator of all of this is appropriate for their different municipalities.
So did the council vote on that before I was on the council at some
No.
point? Or the city
No,
just,
but
how did we become a co-sponsor? How did that happen?
that
Who
was-
signed that paper?
was years ago.
Well, I'm just curious.
And when the project started, we had a cost in that. Each sponsor. when
Okay,
we
so
started-
at some point the council didn't.
When we started
okay.
the initial study with Crockett Avenue Company, yes, we had a cost,
Okay.
a shared cost.
Thank you.
In that study.
Make sure you, Teresa, that you get on the record that Mike has no idea what he's doing up there right now.
What is our
One thing that
contact?
is, I think one thing that I would.
Thank you.
If you want to understand a little bit of the obligation, if you do construct the trail, there's an obligation to maintain it and keep it up. If you do
Sure.
build the overflow infrastructure and a portion of that's within your municipality, that's the responsibility of either the individual entity or agreements of combined entities. You know,
Yeah.
That's yet to be determined, and I think it's a great discussion to have as we get into the details.
And that's more during the design part.
But for example, the Crockett Irrigation Company has determined that the diversion is a critical component to their operations. So they are moving forward, trying to secure money to do that piece of this giant thing.
Yep.
So we could pick out pieces after this is all signed and available, and they sort of, is it true that it just unlocks potential federal money for us to acquire to do the pieces?
Yes. It's the requirement you have to go to the next step.
Okay.
You've got to have an approved EIS
Before you can do it?
before you can request design funds. It has to be.
And
signed.
before you can build it with federal money?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So did that help?
It did.
Okay.
Any other questions from the council after the longest mayor and staff
This
reports?
is the
that this
longest ever. So
group has ever
are we
seen?
allowed to just email you more questions? And
I've got some from you.
yeah,
as well,
you've
but
gotten some from me. I have a few more. I'm sorry. But
It's still your mayor and staff
I'm all
reports.
done. You've answered all my questions, thank you.
Last question, given all the cuts we've seen from the federal government for grants and other programs, what is the risk that the money
Shake
would
your
not
crystal
be
ball.
there?
Materialize.
Yeah.
What's the risk?
That the money.
what's your confidence that we're going to have the money to see this project through?
That's a great question. And that's why people are starting to diversify and look at some other funding options. And take the pieces that are the most important and get those through. Because there is the time
Sitting on the
component
trails.
of this too. I mean, it's been a long process, and these guys have been
Sitting
wanting
on
to
the
see these
trails.
diversions
Got it.
happen for 10 years. So they're saying, let's go after some other funding opportunities. Maybe it's not as good a cost match, but we're gonna get it pushed through faster, so we're gonna go after it. So any of those pieces could be sectioned off and done separately.
We've been
After
in
everything's
communication.
approved? After the
Correct,
EIS?
after the EIS is approved, yeah.
Yeah, we've been in communication with the city's funding team to talk about specifics related to the benefits we talked about today and how to leverage that and be able to receive more grant dollars or other ways. Because Exactly. We would exhaust the program if we funded this whole thing at once, so we're diversifying.
I think that's everything.
Okay.
Thank you both. Appreciate all three of you.
Good questions. Thank
I'm
you.
sure you'll get emails from all of us.
That's it for my mayor and staff reports.
7 o'clock? How are we doing on our timeline? Oh, we're only an hour behind. Sorry, Teresa.
She does her best.
Yeah, we're an hour behind schedule. Okay, we're going to move on with our agenda. Thank you, everyone who was waiting for other items that we'll now get to, for being patient. Planning Commission update, Councilwoman Simmons.
Last planning commission, there's a rezone that we will hear later. So I won't go into that. And the only other thing that is kind of interesting is where the old Wendy's is on Main Street between 10th and 14th North will now be a Chase Bank. It's going to be torn down and a Chase Bank will be built there. That's it.
Okay. Do we have any short, brief council announcements from anyone on the council?
I'll save it for another time.
Perfect. That sounds wonderful. You too? Any council announcements before I move on?
I don't remember levels. We
I
know
mean,
that
just
the
quick,
EV chargers.
maybe exciting announcements there. The EV chargers that were planned for the Gym Law Plus, I understand that they are about to or ready to be used. And I believe that there will be a level 3 charger in that location. Don't quote me on that.
Level 3.
Fast one.
Fast one, yes.
One, yeah.
I thought he said level 3, briefly. Level 3.
And then the mural that is by the arch on that building is coming along pretty good.
Looks nice.
Will be done probably in the next week or two. Yeah, some more other artwork coming to the bus stations. If you guys remember, we approved that as part of the CDBG grants. Yeah.
Thank you, Ernesto. We're going to try to keep moving if that's okay. Our first item is Mr. Mark Montgomery from Logan Light and Power. You want to give us a brief? Everyone had a chance to meet with Mark, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so hopefully we made you wait an extra hour again another time. I'm sorry.
It's like
At least we're not
it's just
pushing
my
you.
luck. I never fails.
Hey,
The
good
only
last.
thing I would add is when we spoke, we talked about, especially Ernesto and Katie talked about, they were worried that on the special event fee that some were planning this fall that didn't, maybe anticipate
for it?
that fee coming in. We did put some language, if you were able to look in the rate, that kind of said, hey, if you've already signed up, this is grandfathered till December 31st. Cool. Like that.
Nice.
That's nice.
That is nice.
Will you give a brief 60-second rundown for the public since this is a public hearing?
Would you like me to go through my little slide deck I went with?
Can you do it in 60 seconds? Go for it. Yeah, no, run through your slide deck.
Okay, I'll do it fast.
Come in 60 seconds.
I just feel bad that we're always so far behind schedule recently.
No one to blame, but.
But not me. No, there are
Did I say that
other
out
people.
loud? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Did I ask every single question? No.
Blame it on us.
All right, there's
It was a team effort.
kind of three, when we discussed this, there are three material changes kind of in the rate booklet, as it were. One is the rates, and you'll see that most of those rates are adjusted by fractions of pennies. We've added a special event rate, and to this point, Logan City Power has been doing events for free. And we met with the special events committee and decided to come up with this rate. And then the third thing is the power cost adjuster, which really isn't much different than the electric surcharge we had before. Other than this has maybe a few extra guardrails and checks in it that the previous version did not have. You can see the rates on the markup. I did make a note here that if we take the average amount of energy that a home uses, their bill will increase about $2.90 a month.
What's the average home's bill
Probably
typically?
600 to 700 kilowatt hours.
And what does that look like, numbers? I know my electric bill costs, I don't have any idea how many kilowatt hours I use.
Probably $70-ish. It'll go up to 90.
Okay.
Special event rate, you guys have seen this. If it's a permanent paddle like we have mounted down on Center Street, $70 an event for 2 days. And if it's one that we have to take out, physically set up, open up a transformer, plug it in, get it set up for the event, then it's going to be $250 per event.
And for those that may need just 1 day, there's no 1 day rate?
No, that just covers 2 days of setting up, because it costs us the same to roll a truck and guys and open a transformer and all that stuff. And then this is just that paragraph that kind of says, hey, if you've already signed up for a special event, it's kind of grandfathered till December 31st.
Kind of grandfathered.
So those fees will be delayed if you've got something planned this fall. I threw up this, there was some question as to what other cities were doing. It's kind of all over the board. Provo City charges $300, and that's not really a special event rate. That is just their temporary hookup fee, of which we don't actually have a temporary hookup fee. So essentially this becomes that temporary hookup fee. Hiram charges $75. They're kind of in the same boat as Provo City. I called the Hiram director to get this information from him, and he said, I've never done it. All this stuff happens in Logan. And then Lehigh is kind of similar, I guess, $80 to set it up, and then if they have manpower on site, it's $150 per hour labor to make the connections and do all the stuff.
What are we calling ours again? Not a setup fee, it's a
Special event.
special event fee.
Special event fee.
But all of those, I mean, except Lehigh, Hiram and Murray and Bountiful and Brigham, they're all on Rocky Mountain Power.
No, Murray, Bountiful, Brigham are all municipally owned.
Yeah.
Are they?
Brigham has their own.
Okay.
And Brigham's.
So they have no
Probably
charge,
charges
which is
twice
basically
those.
what we were, or are now,
Okay.
unless this event rate passes.
Having run special events, it would be fairly easy to charge those that are using power to cover this cost. Because we know who's using it. Those that are going to use power, their booth charge would just be. I'm just saying this is what I would do.
We just don't usually have a meter, right, on those
Yeah.
temporary hookups. So.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
So running events, I find it reasonable, and that's a charge you can pass on to those that are consuming.
Something about faster meetings.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just trying to clarify.
I'm just teasing.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry. Did we finish?
Keep going.
Trying to stand in my 60 seconds. I think I'm blown. PCA, power cost adjuster. Currently, our system is that if we are short what we budgeted, we just pass on those costs the next billing period by spreading that dollar amount over the kilowatt hours. This is essentially the same thing, other than it says we can't really do more than 3 cents per kilowatt hour without getting permission from someone.
3 cents additional.
3 cents, right. So say if you're a resident, your first level is 10 cents a kilowatt hour, we can go up to 13 cents. If we need to go more than that, we need to talk to the mayor, and if we need to really get up in there, we need to talk to city council. Also, there hasn't been a mechanism in this rate to, if we think we can catch it in a month and we don't want to go talk to the mayor to get to 4.5 cents, we can defer that balance to the next month and just add 2 cents or whatever we think it'll be, so that we can try and catch that up. Right now, we don't have the ability to do that. We just have to do it the next month period.
So there is code that would stop you from doing it?
Pardon?
Currently, the code says that.
No, we
can't
just do it. We just.
So you're choosing right now to just do it on the following month?
Right. Right now, we do not do that. We just, if we're short, we charge it on the next month. And if we're short again, we charge it on the next month. This is saying, if we're really short, but we think we're going to catch it, we'll defer that balance and not make it quite so heavy on the next month's billing. I looked into other cities. Some of them have no power cost adjuster in place, but they're working quickly to get them, because this has cost them millions when power gets kind of wonky. The rest do it very similar to the way Logan is now. I didn't find anybody that kind of puts a guardrail in and says, hey, if it's got to go over this amount, we need to go talk to the mayor or the city council. Nobody does that. They just do it the way we're doing it right now.
But we're adding the guardrail.
We're adding that a little bit so that council and mayor are aware of, maybe more aware of what maybe is going on in power costs. And that would be the extent of my little mini slideshow.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you okay if I
Just one
open?
additional item. On the resolution, it does say for utility bills billed after September 1st, just to make sure council's aware of that. That could include usage for the month of August, including usage prior to today, up till today, and through the end of the month. We bill weekly, so the first bills in September would likely be nearly 4 weeks worth of August usage, and then it decreases from there. So just keep that in mind as you contemplate this rate.
But we could change the resolution to change that date.
You could, and that's why I brought it up. If you decide.
If you decide. Is the council okay if I open public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone from the audience who would like to speak on resolution 26-27 is welcome to come to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and please take 3 minutes or less. That's why I often make eye contact with everyone and see nobody looking anxious. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the council for further discussion or a motion or questions for Mark before he wanders too far.
Mark doesn't want any questions.
I know Mark's
He's out
leaving.
here.
He expects us to.
I will move we approve resolution 26-27.
I will second.
Are you okay with that September date?
Yep.
I seconded.
Ernesto, are you okay with that second date, September date?
So you're contemplating just pushing everything to start.
It is not something I caught before.
Is that something you what?
Caught before that
Oh,
moment.
caught before. No, I didn't either.
I know.
Okay.
We can have a discussion before a vote is called, correct, Rich? I mean, Craig?
Yep.
We have a motion in a second, but we can still have a discussion.
Yep.
Rich? Since you brought this up, how far back is someone possibly getting back billed on a rate change here?
4 weeks.
Up to 4 weeks.
So the first bills in September would be nearly 4 weeks worth of usage. Just depends on the read dates, but more likely 4 weeks of usage in August, half of which occurs after today, roughly.
Mark, if we pushed it back to October 1st, what would that do?
City of LaBroke.
Are there any?
But I thought you had reserves.
Do you foresee any issues of pushing it back?
Just, no.
Okay. We do have a motion in a second. So all in favor of approving resolution 26-27 as written and presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
So the motion fails.
So the motion fails. Told you guys we should have some 2-2s tonight since Katie's gone. Here we go.
I move we approve the resolution with changing the date to be effective on October 1st.
We have a motion.
I'm fine with that. I'll second it.
We have a motion in a second. Mark, are you okay with that date? Does that feel, do you want a different date that makes us comfortable? Do you want November 1st?
Whatever the council's.
I'm sorry, I should have caught that before. Okay, all in favor of approving, Craig, do I need to just state the date? Do I need to state the line it's on?
Say that again?
Can we just state it with the date in the motion?
The date change.
Yeah, amending the date, the effective date to October 1st.
To October 1st, okay. All those in favor of approving resolution 26-27 with an amendment to approve the date, to move the date to October 1st, 2026, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion 26-27 passes with an amended date. Sorry, Mark. Sorry to make you wait forever, always. We'll try to put you first on the agenda again next time. Our next resolution is resolution 2602, with our library director, Michael.
I'm going to keep this as short as possible.
Sure.
So just kind of as a reminder, last fall, I investigated the origin of our current non-resident fee of $163 a year for use of the library. It is based on a 20-plus-year-old formula that I don't believe is sustainable. So I worked with our library board, who passed an update to our policies, which would move our non-resident rate to the fiscal year instead of from the year of purchase, to allow for month-to-month purchases, and to lower the annual cost from $163 to $125, which is based on the average property tax paid to users, which is what we've been telling people the number was based on, even though that was incorrect. The board has since implemented the fiscal year and the month-to-month purchasing, since that does not involve any dollar amount. So at the moment, we are pending your vote on our proposal to lower the annual fee from $163 to $125.
Plus the $10 transaction.
Oh, that's right, yes, plus the $10 transaction. It's been 6 months, I forgot.
If we hypothetically approve this tonight, are you, how many cards have you sold since July 1st that paid?
I do not have that number for the list.
Would we be refunding those users the difference in their card rate, or is it just?
The board would just be the day we implemented it changes.
Okay.
Because how far back would?
Well, because it says beginning July 1st, 2026.
That was written in
I know it was
February,
written.
So yes, yeah.
Do we need to amend that?
You would probably want to amend that.
If you implemented month by month, you're only talking about 1 month.
2 months, July and August.
No, July.
All we've been doing is allowing people, instead of buying 3 or 12 months, we've been saying, do you want to buy 2 months? Do you want to buy, we just prorated the months.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Were you still charging the $10?
No, that was not.
If I remember correctly, I think a big part of our debate hinged on whether we felt like we can get numbers from anywhere sometimes, to some extent, right? Are we comfortable with $125 being the expected average cost to a Logan resident? And there was some debate about whether that is the average cost the Logan resident pays, because that's hard to calculate. You're confident in the $125?
I like that number.
Rich, are you confident in $125 as an average rate? I'm not trying to cause an argument here.
I'm confident it's incorrect.
What do you say the average rate to the Logan taxpayer is?
$280.
For a library card?
It's not the cost. Logan City is taxed, so you can't compare a tax with
But
charge for service.
what is the taxpayer
What does the average house
paying?
pay?
What is the average house paying? Because every house is paying
The
a
average
certain amount
house
for a library.
pays $125, but half the houses don't use the service. So the cost of service. So you can. I'm confident that the tax is $125 per home.
Is that including commercial?
It's the cost per home.
Okay.
So the benefit of commercial is rolled into the cost per user.
Sure.
So the tax is $125 on the average home in Logan. That is absolutely true. The cost, in order to get to the cost per user or the cost per household, take the total cost of providing a library divided by the number of households gives you that figure, and that figure is roughly $280.
For those who are using the library.
Of those that are using it.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's paying the $125.
Right, but a lot of people pay it, don't use it. So our cost, but if everyone used it, we wouldn't be able to do it for $125, is what you're saying.
That's the great conundrum.
But you do feel like we are charging roughly $125 to every household, on average.
That is absolutely correct.
Absolutely correct. There were a lot of roughlies in averaging, so.
It's just, you can't conflate the two together. You can't talk about cost and conflate it to property tax. It does not work.
Sure.
Right.
You can decide to charge whatever you want, but those two concepts are different. The cost per home is $125. The cost per household, $280.
household that uses
User
it.
household, right?
Yes, per household that uses that
Cost
has a
per
car
household based on usage.
is $280. Well, council, this was oh, sorry.
Can I just add one thing? That also is only operational cost.
Sure.
That is not capital. The 20 million that the library cost roughly is not included in that 280. If you do that, then it's something much greater.
I thought it was free to go to the library.
Really?
Told you I don't
You
know what I'm
paid
doing
your
up here.
taxes.
This would continue without a public hearing, council, so questions, comments, discussion, or motions? And we could, Craig, stop me if I'm doing illegal things again. We can pick a number too, to some extent. The library board recommended 125, it was 163.
So if
we could,
you can't pick any number.
Well,
it's got to be something that offsets
1,000,
right?
But we could say 140 if we wanted to complicate everything.
What happens though, this was a question at library board yesterday, is we were asking like, if we set another number, like 140, does it go back to library board to approve? Or is that the standing?
The fees are set by the council.
The fees are set by the council.
Just saying.
Okay.
283.
I can make a connection, don't worry.
And the $10 is just when they first sign up. They don't get that charged if they renew it the next
Discussion with the board was that $10 was to encourage people to buy longer cards. So instead of being like, I'm gonna buy a month and then buy another month and then buy another month, that would be like an extra $30. So the idea is to encourage people to buy that longer card through the end of the fiscal year.
And reduce staff
Then
time.
they buy one, yeah.
So it's $10 each time.
It's $10 per transaction for purchasing a card.
So if they're paying monthly, they're paying $10.
Yeah, they would be
Extra.
paying.
Extra, yeah.
An
Then are
extra
people
120
really
a
doing?
year.
That was an attempt to kind of address
Yeah.
Rich's concerns.
Comes close.
So they are
If
charged
you
yearly,
just
though,
charge
they're
them
charged
monthly.
$135
Your only option's once a
essentially,
month.
because it's the
It would be
$10
close.
difference.
If they, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Can you remind us, was there something aside from being more accurate with the amount that was being communicated to people that was costing the people of Logan? Was there another motive, another reason why the board recommended lowering the fee?
From the research I've done, the 163 that we're charging now is one of the highest annual fees for a non-resident card in the country. There's a couple others that reach like 200 something, but it's like LA, super, super large. Kind of a comparison with other libraries in the valley. It just, to me, the existing formula is kind of based on cost per circulation, but the problem is as the circulation goes up, the cost goes down, and eventually you reach zero, or if circulation goes down, then the cost reaches infinite. And so just kind of picking that number, that is the average taxpayer cost is paying this, which to me seems the fairest of all of the options. Although I understand Rich's argument, but to charge $280 would literally make us the most expensive non-resident fee library in the country that I've found.
We might get an article.
I don't think we're
And then
looking,
nobody would buy it. So then usage would go down. And as a librarian, yes, I understand the taxpayers support it, but more usage is better. It just supports everything that we do.
Except for on the digital side.
Say it?
Except for on the digital side.
Maybe.
I'm just being.
Maybe. We don't know that. We can assume digital usage will go up, but I have no way to predict how much.
Sure. It's a pleasure of the council.
Well, considering the fact that they didn't close the county library, and considering the fact that I do believe that the board spent time thinking this through, and although I do understand Rich's argument, I would move approval of Resolution 26-02 as written.
we have a motion?
My biggest thing, to be honest, that I struggle with is charging the same amount that our taxpayers pay. I would rather it be a little bit more for non-residents, because I mean, they're the ones, I mean, everybody voted.
That would be a
how many-
transaction fee.
Yeah, and that's the transaction
that's
fee,
why
and so I
that's
appreciate that being in there. And so that's why, and if that is charged every year, that's where I was kind of like not sure on if that was charged every year.
It's, yeah, every
And
time
if
they
it is,
purchase a
then-
car.
Yeah,
Do you have an amount in mind?
well, it is, it's $10, and so,
No, but I mean,
An amount you're comfortable paying.
Oh.
We're gonna make a number up.
no, I wasn't gonna make a number up. This is
Okay.
what I'm thinking, is because that $10 is in there, then that's showing that they are charging $10 more. I mean, it's minimal, but yeah, it makes me comfortable enough, I believe.
generally speaking, I'd say I could be supportive of lowering it to the 125 plus the transaction fee, mainly because I feel non-Logan residents still contribute to Logan in various ways, but in one main way, tax sales, which is a huge part of our budget.
Do sales tax fund the library at all?
No, not at all.
No, but it brings them in.
One thing to
Sure, but
add,
it doesn't fund the
and I
library.
apologize, I should have added this earlier, that 125 was calculated prior to the tax increase we just passed, just in FYI. We didn't pass a tax increase on the library portion, so that part is still relatively accurate, but just your order.
And the board is willing to adjust as taxes fluctuate, like on an annual or semi-year, double to twice year basis.
Rich, do you have an estimate of what it would be now?
I don't, it's negligible.
It's gonna be a couple bucks difference max.
Because the tax increase doesn't apply to the library levy, but if you were to do it another time, clearly it would.
So we do still have a motion pending with no second. Are we, the motion can die if there's not a second, which is an acceptable
I
path
don't want
forward?
it to die.
Huh? Okay. So the motion, it's gonna be a fun night. Does that motion die then? Is that the procedure?
Second, yeah.
Okay, do we have no second?
I haven't received any emails or calls regarding people opposed to making this change, so I will second the motion.
Okay.
The motion just died, so maybe Jeannie make the motion again and then second.
Oh, what's our time limit?
Well, I said the motion had died because I'm sorry.
I
So,
move we approve resolution 2602 as written.
I will
we have a
second the
motion and we have a second. Is there any further discussion before I call a vote? Okay. All in favor of approving resolution 26-02 as presented, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay. You are an aye, Melissa?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-1.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate your time and coming back 6 months later and waiting 2 hours for us. Mr. Hawley, 2614.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Quick.
Thank you for waiting as well.
You bet. Quick recap and update. So again, in 2023, Logan City adopted our current wetland code. Prior to that, Logan City had no setbacks to wetlands. Wetlands themselves are under the federal jurisdiction, so they fall under the Army Corps of Engineers. They have an office in Bountiful. So if a wetland's delineated, let's say it's a quarter acre, that quarter acre is under federal jurisdiction. The Army Corps allows a couple of options. One can go through a permitting process to fill a tenth of that acre, or excuse me, a tenth of an acre of the delineated wetland. Or you can go through a mitigation process, which essentially fills the wetland in and replaces it in a watershed, the same watershed. That replacement could be outside the city of Logan, or it could be nearby. Now, that does require extra costs because you have to purchase additional land, and sometimes it's a larger square footage. But Corps does allow mitigation or filling of wetlands. No other city in the valley has wetland setbacks. They all have 0 setback to wetlands. The changes that we looked at, or most recently changed. So I talked to the 4 of you as well as Katie via email. We made some adjustments based on what you wanted me to change, and increased setbacks to streets from 25 to 35, which would mean a sidewalk would sit at 25 feet because the measurement is to the curb, and when you account for the park strip and the sidewalk, that's about 10 feet. The other setbacks in these types of projects remained as is, and this has been an evolution as it went through Planning Commission. They tried to break up some of the setbacks and change them for public versus private, and then we've changed them based on our first meetings. So the setbacks to things like trails, landscaping would be 15 feet. Setbacks to things like commercial buildings, 50 feet, and then parking lots, 50 feet. Public and recreation, 15 feet to trails, landscaping, just like the other, except for this one carves out a new category for things like restrooms, pavilions, any building that's less than 1,200 square feet, 25-foot setback. Same setbacks for larger buildings and parking lots, and same setbacks for streets and sidewalks. This exempts boardwalks through and in and around wetlands. And then one of the other changes was to single-family residential lots. This now shows an increased setback of 35 feet to a new lot line, which would put a house at approximately 45, 43 feet away, depending on if it's a side or a rear yard setback. Streets, again, would be the same.
So-
Sorry, this is wrong.
Thank you.
I forgot to change that slide. That is wrong. That should be 45 foot to that home.
45 for the home, but
35 to the lot line.
Because it's 35 to the lot line.
Correct,
And then there's a
35 to the lot line.
Side setback, but the back setback is bigger.
The back setback's 10 and the side setback's 8. So it could be 43 to the house if it's a side, or 45 if it's the back.
Okay.
Okay, so again, I'm trying to strike a balance between being too restrictive, which could result in developers not developing, going to another city and developing, or it could result in more mitigation and filling in a wetland and then not even worrying about setbacks. Between the other flip side, which is a valid argument too, is setbacks will likely improve the health of that wetland, of the function of that wetland. If you build a building or a parking lot at 0 setback, there's going to be impacts to that wetland, negative impacts. If you have a buffer around it, it's likely going to improve the health of the wetland, which I think is important. The changes also better define when a delineation is required, so the city can look at this map and require a developer to perform a delineation prior to a permitting or review process. It also changes the previous blanket 50-foot setback with a 20% disturbance allowance within that setback to a new 10-foot do not disturb immediately around the delineation. So that 10-foot, you just don't disturb that.
Can I ask a clarifying question on that?
You bet.
Can they disturb anything outside of that 10 feet during construction? Right, so right now they can disturb 20%.
Yeah.
We're changing that to whatever the number becomes with a 10-foot do not disturb. But the other 15 to 40 feet.
15 to 50 feet, yes, they could.
Well, it'd be 15 to 40 because minus the 10.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So that
yeah, I gotcha.
other, can they disturb 100% of it? Or are we keeping any sort of 20 or 30 or 10% disturbance allowed?
They can disturb based on these categories. So if they're building trails, they can disturb to the 15-foot line.
But currently it's
Yeah.
50 feet, but they can disturb it during construction, but only 20% of it. Correct?
Yes.
If we pass this as it's written now, someone's coming to build a house, they have the 35-foot line to the lot, 45 to the back of the house with a 10-foot no disturbance. Does that mean the additional 25, is that the right math I'm doing, in that wetland, they could disturb 100% of that during construction? Will it be 25 to the
But they
house?
wouldn't
No,
be
because
there
in that
their
case,
setback
a
is
lot
15.
line isn't requiring construction.
Okay, a commercial building
It's
that's
a
at 50
survey.
feet. So commercial buildings at 50 feet, the no disturbance line's at 10 feet. Can they disturb 100% of that 40-foot difference during construction as currently written?
Potentially they could.
So yes.
When the project's finished, the building's at 50 feet, the landscaping might be between, 40 and 10, or the stormwater, or the trails that they build, or things like that.
So you can put landscaping inside that 50-foot buffer?
Yeah, the landscaping can be in this 15-foot buffer.
Okay. I don't know if I knew that.
So, yeah, the setback can be disturbed.
Currently, you can put landscaping in it too,
Yes.
just only for 80% of
Yep.
it.
And that's typical of a normal development when you go to build a house. You're digging up the foundation, you're doing all this stuff, and then when you put it back together, the house sits outside of the setback.
But you could landscape currently 80% of that 50-foot setback.
I'm not sure about 80%, but you can landscape or do these other improvements up to 15 feet or within 15 feet of the delineation line.
Sorry, I'm talking about the code as it's written right now.
Right.
Not
Right now, it just
right
says-
now it's a 50-foot line, but you could landscape 80% of it because that's a 20% no disturbance.
Yes. Or you could disturb a section that gets within 1 foot of the wetland because it's a
Right.
linear disturbance.
Right.
Well, now we're making it a 10-foot
No
Do
disturbance.
not disturb.
do not disturb from that wetland.
Right.
That's what this
So
is
are you
proposing.
Now, there are a couple of
I just did it off the
exceptions to
top.
that, so if they file for that 1/10 of an acre wetland disturbance or allowance,
Whatever the US.
the do not disturb would align with that. But in general, do not disturb means don't even go in there during construction.
During construction, I can't.
And it requires a temporary fence around with
I
signage
just don't
that
know if I
says,
realized
do
that.
not disturb this area.
I don't know if I realized that you could landscape 80% of your wetland buffer right now.
I'm trying to think.
In my mind, it was buffered, like it was left alone.
Yeah, with the smaller setback at 15 feet, yeah, it'd be common for them to disturb that, build a building, and then re-landscape it. After the project's complete, that is landscaping, which will contribute to the habitat and benefit of the wetland. Because that landscaping will have a minimum tree and shrub count, and it will also be softscape, so it's not, running stormwater or pollution into the wetland. Hopefully.
Okay. Thank you for the clarifications there.
Trails will have a little bit of runoff, but
Sure.
in general, that softscape will have less impact versus hard development.
Sure. I shouldn't realize that our code allowed that currently. Sorry to derail there for a moment.
No, it's a good clarification. So that is the current numbers. Aside from this, there were additional emails back and forth after the packet deadline. I have some alternative ordinances that increase setbacks back to 50 for collector streets. If you
And
want
arterial.
to entertain that, and arterial.
Which was a discussion I had with Russ last week, was
So are you saying arterial?
Melissa and I went out and measured lots of wetlands in my area, my neighborhood, because I live surrounded by the wetlands, as most of you have heard, and we decided to take a tape measure and go tromp through some of my neighbors' backyards until they came out and said, "What the heck are you doing in my backyard?" But I felt like it was informative, and I am tentatively comfortable with these changes. I think my biggest concern was I don't feel like a residential street at 35 feet is the same thing as 10th West at 35 feet.
And I would agree with you.
Yeah,
That's-
what is an arterial or something like that?
An arterial is like
It's the
10th
same?
West and a collector's
But
like-
like, is that the same
Currently,
setback?
its roads
Currently,
are
it's
at-
the same setback.
Yeah, they're
So we
just all
haven't
those.
added anything, yeah.
I was making it more complex at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because why not?
So Russ, I know somewhere in the ordinance, it says that you can build a concrete patio within the setback. And I would think that would be a significant disturbance.
Yeah, that 15-foot includes trails, decks, patios, landscaping, stormwater retention. That's all in this category here.
Sorry, when I read this, I don't understand how landscaping is included in that, if I'm being honest. Because it says a 15-foot setback is required for stormwater retention facilities, sidewalks, trails, patios, and decks. I know I'm like circling back and hung up on it again, but I mean,
yeah,
to be blunt, fertilizing your grass 10 feet, 15 feet from a wetland is, sure, it's probably better than a parking lot in a commercial building, but it's also, I guess my impression was that the setback area was not to be, I understood there was a 10-foot zero disturbance, but I thought the rest of it was in general not disturbed outside of like construction or, which I understand, like we have to allow a vehicle to get through places sometimes during construction. But then for the next 50 years, it's not landscaped and fertilized and pebbles and rocks, and that it was more native and natural in the buffer zone.
Yeah,
was that a wrong assumption?
No, we can add some qualifying language.
But it is.
But it's I guess, typical that any setback area is default landscaping.
Okay.
That becomes default open space or landscaping, because if it's not in a setback area, it's either a building, a parking
But
lot,
is it a setback or is it
driveway.
a buffer? I don't know.
So currently,
Those technically
how
different
much of
terms.
it do you think it's landscaped from the setbacks?
Is that legally different? Buffer versus.
Well, the commercial projects are required 20 to 30% open space. And depending on the size of the project, most of your setbacks become that open space. And in some cases, beyond the setback becomes that open space. All this is saying is within all that open space, there's some allowances for some things to happen near a wetland. And that's what the 15-foot setback would allow.
So currently, the majority of the setback space is being already landscaped.
Currently landscaped.
Right, that's
So
standard development
The
practice.
10-foot buffer now, the
Wouldn't be.
10-foot fence buffer around it would preclude that within 10 feet of the,
That would preclude anything like a stormwater retention, a trail, anything. That's saying don't touch that. That is your native don't touch.
I do not think the general public had any idea that the 50-foot buffer could be landscaped to an 80%. completion, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I understand that that's how the code's written. I just, I did not realize that at all.
What else
I get it.
would go into that space, I guess, is my question.
Cattails.
Nature?
Well, that's what landscaping can be. You can,
Your backyard is nature.
you can,
That's not, I mow it twice a week.
you could seed an area and let nature do its thing, and that would be
There is a
considered
difference.
landscaping.
And I'm not necessarily arguing one way or the other right now. I'm just,
There is, I'm saying if you have a 100-foot lot and you're doing 50 feet away from it for your back door, you're telling people you can't put anything in your backyard, and you now have 20 feet of a front yard.
well, no, because they have a 10-foot. I mean, it depends on the lot size. It depends on the lot size, but there's a 25-foot setback.
So if
to the
you
lot
can't put
line.
anything in that buffer,
But in my
you
head,
have no backyard.
But in my head, the lot line, I know it's only for residential, was at 25 feet. So I assume that that other 25 feet is just native vegetation, not the HOA came in and spread fertilizer all over it.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
That was my assumption. And I understand that that was my fault and my flaw, making assumptions. You know what that turns me into. But anyway, I'm going to take another drink of water for a moment.
Yeah, now in the case of a residential subdivision, that will be a separate HOA-owned piece of land around the wetland. And the land will probably include the wetland itself. It'd be a parcel with both the wetland and the setback.
But the HOA.
Now, since a subdivision doesn't require, backhoes and track hoes to put in a property line, that area likely will remain native. There's no reason to disturb that now unless there's an underground utility or something. And that can happen, and then it gets re-vegged and nature.
But on a commercial property, if we leave it at, if we adopt this 50 feet setback to the building, and then they can landscape 40 feet of it, and then there'd be a 10-foot buffer.
Correct.
Which is substantially better than what we have right now. Because you can currently landscape up and to the edge of the buffer, to the wetland.
In some cases, yeah.
But you can only do it for 80% of the setback
You
area.
could tear out all the native and bring in Kentucky bluegrass for 80% of that area.
I've spent like 6 months reading this code. How did I not realize that?
What's the lot line on a building?
I have no idea.
Like a commercial building?
I
We have
get it.
50 foot from the building, but what's the lot line for a commercial building? What's the buffer?
So commercial is subdivided differently. Sometimes you'll have a commercial development that's all one parcel, and there'll be 5 different buildings. Sometimes they divide it up. Setbacks will again be based on where the wetland line is drawn and not necessarily the property line.
So we don't have a buffer from where the wetland line is drawn and a commercial property line, but we do for a residential property line.
Correct, but in the case
But a
of
commercial parcel would own
commercial,
the
you
whole
can't
parcel.
put the building within 50 feet of the wetland, regardless if there's 2 property lines or 1 property line or 0 property line between those 2
different.
elements.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, well, Mike learned something tonight. I think the big change I don't love is the arterials at 35. That's to me
And those types of roads were the ones that pushed me to.
right. I think I walk down my street, which has wetlands on numerous, I was gonna say parcels, sections of the area of the street, and most of the road in the area is at 35 feet right now, even though it was built decades before we had the code. And I don't want to speak for Melissa, but when we walked and looked at it, I felt like 35 did a decent job at buffering that wetland area in a residential complex. But also I run 10th West regularly, and it's full of garbage on the side of the road, well beyond 35 feet out in a lot of areas. And I don't know if 35 feet is, in my opinion, adequate for an arterial. And a collector to me falls in that like gray area personally. I don't know, but council.
Again.
Huh?
I move we approve ordinance 26-14 with the following change, that arterials and collector roads will be 50 feet away from the wetland area.
We have a motion.
So not 35, just to clarify.
Correct.
So modifying it, what we just heard, to be 50 feet.
For those two
Arterials.
road types.
Can I clarify where I think we're at so that everyone knows? Is that okay? Russ, correct me if I'm wrong. Boardwalks are exempt. Public trails, sidewalks, and such are at 15. Lot lines for single family are at 35. Residential roads are at 35. Collectors and arterials are at 50. And commercial, industrial, and multifamily is at 50. Is that correct as Jeannie has?
That is correct.
What's residential home?
That's at 35 as.
From the lot line.
Oh, sorry, residential home has a 10-foot zoning setback, so the home would be at 45.
I will second.
Could be at 43 if it's the sidewalk.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second for ordinance 2614 with the amendment for collectors and arterials at 50 feet. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'll say aye.
Is that an opposed or an aye?
That was an aye.
Is that a nay?
No, it's an aye.
It's an aye?
Late aye,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, no, you're okay. Ordinance 2614 passes at 4-0. Yeah, I just,
With amendments.
I just did not realize that you could build right up to it right now with the buffer. What was that, Mark? With amendments.
I said with amendments.
With amendments.
Yeah,
Always
with the
amendments today. Thank you, Russ. I appreciate all your hard work on that. I know it was a lot of back and forth, so thank you. Aaron and Brad. Thanks for hanging out for 2.5 hours, Brad.
Pleasure.
I hope it's been the most exciting evening of your week. Aaron,
are you ready for me?
Take us away.
All right, thanks, Chair. Thanks, Council. So this is ordinance 26-15, the Maple View subdivision PD overlay. We've discussed this in concept, in workshop. Now we're on 350 south and 1400 west. It's 10 acres. The PDO is an opportunity to apply site-specific changes to the zoning code to allow for more variation. When we met in workshop a couple weeks back, there was a couple of directives given and feedback provided. One was to go down to a 40-lot subdivision with emphasis on more even split between the lot sizes with more larger lots, and to utilize a portion of the land to overlay backyards. Essentially, this green column over there is sort of the target given. The proponent has provided an updated site development plan. It's shown here. This includes, and we're really just looking at, I want to highlight, we're just looking at the 10 acres. Here, there is one proposed lot shown above. That's on city property and would require an executive action, its own public hearings to do. But there is potential in the future that Logan City does something with that. But for the sakes of this project, we are only looking at the 10 acres. So on that 10 acres, there's 14 lots that are larger than 10,000, 15 lots that are larger than 6,000, and 11 lots that are less than 6,000. I want to highlight a few other changes here. So real quick, in this little highlight diagram, the pink lots are the, or is that magenta, are the 10,000 square foot or greater lots. The blue lots are the 6,000 or greater lots, and the green lots are the 6,000 or less. Other changes here, or updates to the development plan that you haven't seen previously on the development plan, is the connection to 290 South is shown. Instead of a trail going through the open space, the trail is instead intended to be coordinated through Logan City with the Parks Department to find a way to put a trail through the park and actually just use the park space instead of trying to double up the open space since we have plenty there. So that'd be in coordination with local city parks. And then you see the lots that are on the landfill overlay area include the back setbacks within that space. And then this plan shows the landscaping buffer and 8-foot trail along 14th West. Changes to the code amendment were to update the numbers of lots. So that was changed from the following workshop to 40 lots. In the code amendment, it says 14 as 10,000 square foot lots and 13 as 6,000 square foot lots. If council was amenable to this plan, they'd want to amend the amount of 6,000 square foot lots to 15. So again, the breakdown ended up being 14, 15, and 11. And
We had told them what?
that's the size of lots.
We told them to build one with 40 lots.
The green was 14, 13, and 13. So you lost some smaller lots, gained a couple of medium lots.
Okay.
So it's not 14?
It's not exact.
It's 14,
After
11, and
15, 11.
15, 11.
There's more medium-sized lots, less small lots.
Okay.
Unless there's anything else you want me to go into, I'm going to pause there.
Those narrow lots in the middle, how wide are they? Like, are they buildable? I'd have no clue.
I mean, I'm sure they're buildable.
Like, is it like it's just gonna see a garage and the house is all behind it?
They put a soccer field in together.
I would guess they're around 50-foot frontages, but that would be my estimate.
Maybe more. No, there are more.
Do you have an estimate?
They're going to be right close to that. I have a key on here. I didn't measure them out.
Okay.
The key on here indicates that they're right around 50. Especially, these ones are definitely right around 50. These ones might be slightly less. I think it was 54 if I remember.
Yeah.
We did have builders place houses on
You did?
Okay.
And they're normal looking homes, not like a weird just garage in the front?
They meet state code.
I know. Okay.
I have a question. Looked at the previous one that we were presented, and on the left side along 1400, I think there used to be less lots.
Fewer lots.
Fewer lots. And now that there is more, they seem to be bigger lots as far as the, what do you call it, the size of the lot itself. Did I miss something? Did you make them longer? Is that what you did?
Should I come up?
Sure, Brad.
If you remember when we talked about it, I said fitting them exactly is tough, and so it really comes down to, you mentioned those longer ones in the center. Those are, that's where our awkward space was, so trying to stretch and make everything fit as usual as possible.
So I'm actually asking about the green ones on the left. There used to be one less lot, and they used to be 0.09 acres. Now you have more, and they say they're 0.12, 0.13 acres.
So I think that
1350, I'll highlight that, moved.
It shifted
It
a
has
little bit.
less down here that are bigger.
Oh, the road moves up.
So
I guess I'm wondering, where did the extra space come from for those specific lots?
I'll highlight it. So the 1350 West Street, that north-south street there, shifted to the east to create more acreage. So yes, there's an extra lot there, but the sizes of them are actually larger now.
Yep.
And that shift happened, I'm assuming, because the private road disappeared and there weren't middle lots in the island.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
If the...
I have another question.
Okay.
What does this, I mean, original zone was NR4. This new design that he is brought us with, what does that make it?
It's 4 units to the acre.
This is in R4?
This is 4 units to the acre. Now, developing at maximum density in R4 isn't very feasible because of the amount of that comes out for roads, and in this case, that comes out for the landfill overlay.
Yeah.
Our estimates for in R4 development, this is completely estimates. This isn't, laying out houses on the in the area. It was between 23 and 25 lots. So, this is developed at 4 units an acre.
Yep. Okay.
If the council's okay with it, I know there are some people from the neighborhood here that want to give public comment, and I'm wondering if you guys are okay, or if you have further questions, if we move to public comment, hear what the neighborhood has to say, and then come back for a discussion. And
Before we do that, Aaron, could you and/or Russ sort of review for us what the purpose of the PD overlay was as we codified it?
Yeah, I can cover that. So some of the highlights that I have from my notes, the PDO overlay is intended for flexibility in the city's zoning. It allows for unique, innovative, and well-planned developments. And then also another point in the code is that it's intended to be used where there's no existing zoning that is sufficiently permissive or sufficiently restrictive to accommodate what's being proposed there. And that's the case in this one. The NR4 zone is not sufficiently permissive to allow smaller lots, and then rezoning this to MR9 isn't sufficiently restrictive to eliminate future development as townhomes. So that's where a PDO is perhaps an appropriate application of that code.
Thank you.
everyone okay if we move to public comment? Okay. This is a public hearing. If you'd like to comment on ordinance 26-15, please come to the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and take 3 minutes or less, and I will open the microphone. Oh, first one.
Aaron told me that...
Start the timer, Craig.
I think so. I just wanted to say thank you for your time and your input and your effort over these several months. And, you know, we hope that we have struck that balance. And, you know, we hope that we've been trying to listen. We hope we have. And came back with kind of that target you gave for us and have made a meaningful reduction from original to planning commission to now. And I feel like this is a good positive project for the city. And, you know, just, you know, I'm grateful for your input. Hope we're there for what you asked for. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
What am I supposed to say before I give my
Name and city of residence.
Okay, I live in Logan. I'm the property right next to the bottom on 350 South.
And if you'll say your name just for the record.
Friederike Hendrickson. Did you get Yeah, good luck. Do you need me to spell?
Do we need it spelled?
Did you sign in the back?
No.
If you do that, I can get the name.
Okay. We have had several discussions with the neighborhood, and I feel, I can't speak for the neighborhood, but it seems like the public opinion in the neighborhood is that that is still too dense of housing for the character of the neighborhood and for the kind of community that we've all built for decades and for many years and tried to establish. And we have already made room, or whatever you want to phrase it, for a lot of lower density or higher density and lower income housing in our area, and we don't think that it's necessary or warranted to put this high density in there. Another question I had was if there was a wetland delineation made for that field. Like I said, we live next to it, and the groundwater is really high, and there are areas that show wetland plants. So I'm curious if that has been considered, if that was mandated. I don't know what the rules are for that. And if it were up to me, I would say that it would need more of a transitional phase in between the almost acre lots and the 3 lots to the west, as well as that middle circle shouldn't have those lower green, that were green, homes, but that they should continue with the large lots that are on the top and keep that consistent. So those people that live in that little circle or place there feel like they all have a similar use of that space. I don't know if that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Aaron, will you go back to our beautifully color-coded one? Thank you.
I took a lot of pride in this color.
That's really
I like
nice.
I like the magenta.
The color
There's a lot of
helps.
good contrast going on there.
Yeah, the color helps.
Hi, I'm Jacob Hendrickson, also live on 350 South, right there on the west end. I sent an email a while back about opposing this overlay, the plan development overlay. Really, my highest concerns would be the safety. We want to make sure that the kids don't have all the extra traffic and issues with safety along there. Keeping the character of the area. This is the equestrian estates. People have their horses or their animals or whatever. Keeping that character along there. We also know a lot of people that end up moving out of the neighborhood because they're looking for some larger properties and there just aren't any. But so safety, character. Then also the pedestrian and bicycle access through here, safety for that, and also just being able to reach the amenities here. I would recommend that the lots remain larger, as understood in the initial zone. However, these 3 points would be higher on my priority list, honestly. And I feel like this plan that we're seeing today is a lot better than the last one. I do feel like there could be a little bit more of a transition zone from the larger lots to the smaller. But anyway, so I do oppose the overlay. If it were to happen, I think we have to be really careful to make sure that we have those other things. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Seeing no one else coming from the public, we'll close the public hearing. Oh, sorry. We will reopen the public hearing. Is that what I technically have to state? It was closed. Can I reopen it?
I think you're good.
Okay. You guys are good.
Jason Tubbs, City of Logan. The property that is just on the east side of the top 3 magentas there. Question that I have, not being a part of this as intimately as I wanted to be, question that I have is twofold, and it may have been addressed, in which case I can just be pointed that way. One is traffic and the bottleneck that is already there on 600 South in the elementary. Correct. So it's already been addressed, but you cannot get onto that road in the morning currently. This will exacerbate that issue right there. Second question that I have has to do, does any of these 10 acre have water rights associated with them? And if so, what's the impact there? I do have shares in water rights and the impact that that may have for me as a resident there. Those are, and the third, besides the more of a transitional that was already stated, so that being as it is, as well as the safety of going from the neighborhood that's low density to all of a sudden a high density area there, and the transition in between and the safety factors there. Those are the concerns that I have against this layout right here.
Can you explain where your water comes from?
Southwest irrigation.
And where is Southwest Irrigation?
It's on the
ditch?
top of the magenta, the top right magenta. There's a ditch with the water rights that goes there.
Is it?
Here.
And that, I know it
Okay.
goes east. I don't know if they continue west where this subdivision is. And there's also same situation on the south side, down the blue boundaries as well, on both sides of that 10 acres.
I know the owners are here. I would be really curious to know how the water works through the property.
We can invite them up and ask them.
That's up to you.
It is. Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm nervous. Never done this.
Me too, always. It's fine.
Okay, so I'm Tawny Tubbs, his daughter. Also have lived here my whole life. But my stance on it is I would be someone interested in new developments and purchasing this property that would be built. From my point of view, much like how our neighbors are saying, it's so condensed. And again, living there my whole life, a lot of what we've seen is with the new subdivision to the north, as well as the one to the south that have been built in the last few years, is you're getting a lot of people who are not from Logan. And it's a lot of people, you're finding these younger families who are finding jobs here and they're moving into those. And a lot of people in that neighborhood are pushed out because there's no longer the right size of home for them. And so again, me, who for my future and my family, I would want a larger lot. I don't want to be condensed to a home where I have no backyard. My neighbors are 2 feet away living from me. And so I also, like everyone else was saying, feel that it is too condensed with how it is. And it's looking into how we can make just larger lots to where we've already compromised into all these smaller lots. It just brings in a whole new demographic of who can stay here. And so that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last time I cut people off, so I'm double checking this time. Okay. Seeing no one else, we will close our public hearing. Bring it back to the council. There were a couple questions. Jeannie, you had a question about water rights, and you wanted to ask the sellers of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Would you
Where
guys?
the water runs.
Would you guys be willing to come up and share that with? I believe you are the two that own the property, correct? I believe Jeannie's question is, where does the water currently run? Where are the canals and
Where are the canals existing?
Dean Adams, excuse me. The water comes from 10th West. There's used to be an open ditch, but now it's enclosed. And we used to get our water from the south side of the equestrian estates. When they put the equestrian estates in there, they blocked our ditch. So we cannot get the water down. If they had put that in a pipe, or if the developer or the city or the county, whoever was in charge at that time, had required them to keep that ditch, we would get our water down that way. Now they have to pump it out of the ditch on the north side of equestrian estates. We do have 10 shares of water.
So there's no ditch existing on the property, correct?
We have a ditch on the west side, no, the east side, and the south side. And we have a well in the southeast corner, and that's how we irrigate.
Okay.
But the ditch on the south side, you said is covered up.
East of their property.
Ditch way clear up to 10th West has
And so
been filled in.
Bring it in on the north ditch and then take it south.
You know, you can't see it on that.
But there is a ditch on the north side? No.
There is a ditch on the north side.
Along
Okay.
the entire property?
Directly behind the Tubbs house, correct?
Along the entire north side of the 10 acres?
Yeah. And it feeds a lot of people further west.
Yeah, it is, goes
Okay.
the whole way.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll note, any water conveyance across the property will have to be preserved. Sure. And it's something that's shown on the plats and is.
What about the existing well but you just use that well for your use, correct? For your
Correct.
property?
Correct.
So I don't know what happens to the well. But
Whoever buys that quarter lot's real lucky.
Yeah.
They'll sell water.
That's the one to buy.
Thank you, Dean.
that's the
Appreciate
one you
that.
should keep.
I know there was another question, or we closed the public hearing?
It was about that water, that ditch on the south side. It's up to you. I don't have to make it.
Sure, come on up.
Aaron Zillis. I live on the south side, and the ditch does come about halfway down, and it keeps going, but a lot of people filled in their ditch. So I get the water rights to my house, and a few people passed me, but after that, I don't know where that water would go. If we let it go, it would probably cause some real problems. So there is a possibility. It would just require
cleaning up the
digging
ditch.
out that ditch. Sure. So that's all.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron, there was a question about wetlands. Were there wetlands delineated on this property anywhere?
There were none delineated or required to be delineated. As you may recall from Russ's presentation, we defer for our initial review to the National Wetland Inventory, which showed no wetlands.
Thank you. And the other main point brought up by the public was traffic. How are we going to fix 600 South?
Where is
That's a big question.
As someone who lives just off 600 South, it is. Yes.
This ties in nicely to, there are improvements required with this development to connect to 200 South, which is also signalized. And so things don't just flow in that one direction. It has multiple connections. It has future stubs south. It cleans up dead-end streets, and it will provide improvements to 14th West and connection to 200 South. Redundancy, I guess, is the answer for this subdivision. That it's not dependent on one intersection.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul. Council?
I appreciate, Brad, all that you've done to come back and, listen and bring plans. It's hard. This is a really hard one because it's my neighborhood and it's what we have fought for a long time, is trying to get bigger lots in our neighborhood. And you've tried. And I got to give you credit for that because there is something to say for people who also own the property and being able to sell it and that as well. Besides that, I can't make a motion yet, so I'm not going to, but I just want to let you know that I do appreciate all that you've done and the work you've done to try to accommodate the neighborhood.
Can I ask a question, Aaron?
I'm here for it.
Assuming we approve this as is, or modify it more tonight and approve it. If it's in some way or another, this PDO is approved, can he just build the base zone if he wants to, or he has to build exactly what's in the PDO?
Ooh, he is subject to the ordinance of the PDO. So anything that's in that would have to go forward. That's a really good question. It can be abandoned, but it is adopted as ordinance.
So no.
So I'd say.
So assuming we made modifications tonight, and he didn't like them, he still has to do them or not buy the property, right? Like there's no, like just going back to the base zone because what you did was worse. That's my question.
We've done so few of these that I haven't had to answer that question before. I am going to look over at Russ. He's still behind me.
I'll look at Craig at the same time.
Well, it's a map. It's a map amendment.
Yeah.
So it would require a future map amendment to pull the overlay back off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, I guess, whatever is, if it's passed tonight, whatever it's approved obviously has to completely agree with it, or, because he can't just go back to the base zone without another amendment. Correct, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this was our only item not continued for the night, so we can continue it for
I also want to comment that this to me is much better than the original one that I saw. Those changes that were made to me reflect a lot of good intention in listening and implementing the feedback to provide something to the community that is better than was initially proposed. Since I've been on council, we have approved quite a few multifamily projects, some townhomes, some condos or apartments. And one thing that I've listened from state conferences and even local conferences is that middle housing that is missing from the stock, what's available. I think this addresses a lot of those initial concerns that I had, because I am very concerned of all the multifamily that we've approved on the west side. If you were still willing to put a couple more larger lots here, it would definitely make me happier to vote in favor of this. For example, where you go back to the color area.
We like the color one area.
I know. It was covering up where there might be a ditch, so I'd gone back.
I mean, I personally think that those 5, 6 green lots below the larger don't fit. To me, they don't fit along with those larger lots. So for me, that's an opportunity for you to go back.
The ones in the middle?
Yes, the ones in the middle. And maybe instead of 6, 4, I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there.
So the council has a couple choices. We can approve as written, approve with amendments, continue or deny as written.
Remind me the square footage of the blue and the green.
The blue are larger than 6,000. They
like 0.14 acres, give or take.
They vary, and the majority of them on the south end are closer to 6,000. These ones on the north end are more around 7,000.
Okay, so it's anywhere from 0.14 to
0.16.
Yeah.
0.18.
Even
yeah, 0.14 to 0.18.
I can't see that. I'm really blind.
You just got to zoom in a lot.
Even my laptop is like.
These greener ones here are generally around 4,400, and these ones along the west side are closer to 52 to 55.
I've still never converted to square footage lots. I'm still thinking.
I know, I can't.
0.8
picture
acre.
it. It's hard.
12.
Yeah, 4,400 feet doesn't translate into anything for me.
I know. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, I've owned multiple houses. I know what size they were in acreage. You can think it.
So 4,400 lots makes one 12,000 square foot lot, is that right?
Yeah, roughly.
13,400.
I'm not really supposed to make motions without Jeannie giving me a hard time about it. I will make a suggestion that if we're not comfortable enough with it, or it's not close enough to what you want, maybe continuing it for 2 weeks is the right choice, despite me joking about it 3 minutes ago. But it's up to you guys.
Brad, I know we've asked you to do a lot of things.
We
We've
have
asked you
plenty
to
to do
change a
here.
lot of things. And I hope that you also can appreciate how hard it is for the community to have what, that it's hard for us to put, we have a large lot subdivision, then we've got a multi-lot subdivision, then we've got a small lot subdivision, then we've got a multifamily. And it begins to fracture the whole area because there's so many different kinds. I do think you've tried really hard to get closer to what we would like. I would, if it's possible that you could put at least 2 more larger lots in there, it would make it feel, especially down there where that one green area, it seems to be, it does seem to be disjointed from having large lots and then going to the smallest size right next to it. I know that you did it because you were trying to maximize your use of the property as well. I just am still struggling with the idea that it's not as special as I wanted it to be. And I don't have a definition of special.
What's that unique part of PDO that we keep thinking about, I think?
Yeah, and I just, I would like to, as Ernesto said, it's true, there is some, we talk a lot about affordable housing, but there is a missing middle as well. Mm-hmm. And it's housing for those people that have already bought one house and want to buy a second one. So I don't really have an answer. But
Do you guys want to bring Brad up to the microphone and ask him questions?
he can come up and say whatever he wants.
Brad, microphone's yours.
I don't really have a
I know,
question.
we're all sitting here silently and I figured, I get that's a hard decision, but let's move in a direction.
And Jeannie, I do appreciate what you're saying and where you're coming from, where this is a hard decision. And I think that the premise of a PDO and what's special is hard to define and establish when it's just lots. And and there's competing things that you guys are having to deal with. I mean, the missing middle is a real thing, and one of our specials that we were bringing to this and we've discussed, and which is, in the missing middle literature, one of the best things for that is having, they call it filtering, where you've got apartments, townhomes, small lots, bigger, medium lots, larger lots. And so that is something that is special about this, that if we just had a straight zoning, you would not get. But there's a balance between, does it feel disjointed because there's some small lots, some big lots, or is that a positive because we're meeting that need? We're creating a community where somebody can filter up. If she wants to buy a house now, and new houses in the 400 to 500 range, we've got something. But she wants to stay in the community. Okay, now you can move up to a quarter-acre lot. That is something that is unique for a lot of subdivisions. If you see, look up on 290 South, everything's exactly the same. So it does provide something that is unique, and while it might be uncomfortable because you don't see it very often, it is something that leads to overall better community, in my opinion, and what the research shows, because there is that people can stay in the community, and it's not like, oh, I have to move from a cottage to a bigger house, and I gotta go to a different. So I know there's that balance between what feels congruent and then, you know, having that element of variety of housing, which is what, you know, the direction I got was, let's have, you know, more variety of housing, and so.
So I think that, you know, what I will say is, I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying, but I also understand that you're not going to build this.
I'm going to build the roads, I'm not going to build
The infrastructure.
Right.
the
You're going to
housing.
build the shape, but the community feel will come from what is actually constructed on the lots, too. And I think that we're a little nervous about what that comes up looking like, because it can be really good or not so good.
So you could add more character, or you could get a bunch of ideas.
And I think that the element of uncertainty there is mostly architecture. I mean,
Yeah, and we
the
can't
housing
dictate
sizes
that.
are
We can't dictate that.
pretty locked in.
So.
And yeah, that's nothing that can be controlled, right?
Can I ask you a couple questions? I know a couple times that when I've talked with you, I've mentioned possibly including the landfill overlay zone in the lot lines of some of the houses up there, which obviously they can't build their house in it, but it could be included inside the yard. Is there a reason that that has not
So it
happened?
is included in there, I mean, it's not wildly extensive, as we talked through this.
Okay.
Where we.
I guess it is inside just a little bit, huh?
Right.
Okay.
And that's based on the size of the detention, which is.
Oh, okay. Is that what that purple is a retention facility?
Yeah, and the discussion is, do people want to have detention in their backyard or not? And that is something that happens sometimes.
Is the size of that detention, I don't know what the term is. Detention is what I did in high school. Retention is for water. Is the size of that dictated by, that's how big it needs to be?
Yeah.
It can't be smaller?
Well,
I'm just,
I mean, if you want
I'm
to
just
get into
asking.
the weeds, Logan City has even if there's a high water table, you have to do a piezometric study.
But this is
for several. So this is as it is above the water table.
Okay.
And anything more would take a year of testing to be able to change, which is possible, but just takes a year. So and we didn't want to have. We wanted to have a separate parcel just for the detention, because that's what makes the most sense in this type of neighborhood.
Two of the council members have asked about the possibility of combining some of those green lots along 375 South.
Well, at this point, we have exhausted our both timing and financial capabilities on this, and so we really thought that we'd follow the direction and had something that can be approved. So could that be done? I mean, maybe if they're willing for a new contract and we can.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, it's
these three are being a little quiet at the moment, so.
How much? How much do the lots cost? Green, purple, blue. I mean, just a rough guesstimate. What are they going to cost? Because 10,000 square foot lots right now are going 140 to 250 in Logan. So depending on location. Because that makes a difference. I mean, if you're trying to build a house and you're starting with a $200,000 piece of property, you do 1,500 square feet, you're over 500,000 already at $200 a square foot. So.
I pulled some comparables from the area around it, and a 1,500 square foot home on a 4,000 square foot lot was $400,000. A 2,000 square foot home on a 5,000 square foot lot was $480,000.
But that's already built, right?
Those are built. Those are for sale on the market.
Can you repeat those numbers?
The 1,500 square foot home on the 4,000 square foot lot was $400,000. These are in the neighborhood, just around this, in the 2,000 square foot home on a 5,000 square foot lot was 480. And for reference, a 4,500 square foot home on a 10,000 square foot lot in Mountainside Estates is 685. Those, the gravel.
University on the north side.
The DR Horton development.
Yeah.
So it's
And
great.
those are
It's great to have
not-
lots, but you're doing $700,000, you know, so.
But there's still the argument that people go to the valley and build their houses
Go out of
on.
Logan.
Yeah, so people are buying those still.
Yeah.
That's your middle
But
income that like
do you
Ernesto was saying that we
Do
need.
you want affordable houses or do you want houses?
We need that middle
Can we have both?
size.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's like, it's expensive.
It is
You
expensive,
know,
but
so
we're
you gotta
not
do smaller
hitting
homes.
that middle size.
My son
That's
just
what
moved here from Arizona and he had a 2,000 square foot house on a 5,000 square foot lot. And, you know, it's like, they're economizing in space because they're running out of space, you know, so it's like, you can do half acre lots, but they fill up really fast.
I think they will.
So you gotta decide what you want. Do you want sprawl or do you want more affordable homes?
Maybe we want all of it.
I like my neighborhood because it's got a little bit of everything in it. You know, it's got
Which I live in this neighborhood. And it has
townhomes and
a
it's
little
got
bit of everything.
apartments and it's got.
So
you know,
does this neighborhood.
That's what I like. That's what I like about it.
So
I
does
like
this neighborhood.
I like the
Neighborhood has
diversity.
a little
So
bit of everything.
yeah, it's like diversity's good.
We might. Thank you. I'm gonna need to break in a minute.
So you're saying we can't do anything about those green lots there at the bottom? Or could we extend it for 2 weeks maybe? Maybe we extend it for 2 weeks and see if there's something that could be done.
Like I said, I don't have any more contractual time on this. We got extended to this one specifically.
I am willing to move to approve a modified version of this to make those 6.1 acre lots into 0.15, making 4. I'm willing to do that, but only, I guess, if that is
I'd say
something.
we need an agreement from Brad, but I don't want to lock him to something that he doesn't want. And I know we're putting on the spot.
Right.
I would be willing to call a 5-minute recess if you need to call a team member or consider it or something, but that's a motion. You need a second before anything happened, but we can let him.
So Ernesto, your motion was to make the 6 into 4?
Yeah, so they would go from roughly the 0.1 to 0.15.
And your 38 houses instead of 40 for the whole project.
I would second that motion, but I would also ask for a recess so that Brad can sit for a minute and talk and think and decide whether that's appropriate for him.
Unless he wants to answer now, obviously, but.
If we could have a recess.
Yeah.
Can we just go talk now for a minute?
Can I have a recess with the motion on the table? Craig?
Yeah, you could.
We can call a recess with the motion on the table. Don't talk to each other.
We won't talk.
Yeah, just. Also on to the workshop. Yeah, we can move on to the workshops.
Continue
come
this
back
to
to
the end of the meeting?
Let this motion pen while we continue on to the workshop.
I really was gonna hope we could have a putty.
I have to say, I kind of.
She just said that.
Okay,
over
Brad, how about we do
there.
this? Let's call a 5-minute recess so that I can also use the restroom. Then let's come back and let's do our workshop items, and we'll do yours at the end of the meeting. So that gives you probably 20-ish minutes. You want that much time, or you want 5? I'm sorry.
20 is safer.
Okay, so let's call a 5-minute recess. Use the restroom. Don't talk to each other in the toilet, and then we'll do our workshops
We have the
5-minute recess. Please be back on time at 8:54.
We can't talk.
We can't discuss this?
No.
No, do not discuss it.
We cannot.
And do not go out and talk to the, Melissa, don't go talk to Brad either. Don't discuss it.
I'll just stand here.
Just stand there.
population split allocation from Cache County for 2027. Skip down to the fourth item, request to appropriate $450,000 of RAPS tax funds received from Cache County for the Coonsville Trail Improvement Project.
Oh, yay.
And $126,624 for our after-school grant program. Now I'll go back to the one that's a little more unique. This is a request to appropriate $883,206 toward replacement or utility billing software toward a software offering that is called SpryPoint. Over the last 18 months, we have researched various software offerings. Our current software, New World by Tyler Technologies, it hasn't been designated end of life, but it's close to it. They're not bringing on any new clients. They're maintaining it at a certain level and anticipating and encouraging clients, current clients, to look at their other offerings and maybe move to their Munis offering or one of the others. So as part of this evaluation, we have already started moving community development software off to Elements. And we've been looking for the last 18 months at various utility billing offerings, and we've documented, we've looked at over 40 different pieces of software, arguably some of them much less time invested than others. But we've heavily looked at 3, we've narrowed that to 2, and now we're confident that the SpryPoint offering is the one that's best for our city. So requesting $883,206. This will pay for implementation, which is estimated at $731,000, and then it will also pay for the first year of software as a service fee of $151,000, which would be anticipated that would go up year over year as software does in the future.
So it doesn't, there's no, call it contract that would give us any leverage on that annual fee to be lower or?
So there,
or keep it where
we
it
did
is?
get pricing proposals from several different vendors. I think the specifics on this one, we do have kind of guaranteed pricing for 5 years.
Oh.
As part of the contract.
So is this over and above, is this something you all have been budgeting for? Is this, it's just coming out of reserves?
So this would come out of reserves. It would pay for the first year of SaaS fees as well as implementation. It's anticipated that as part of the 2028 budget, we would work that into the IT budget.
The annual fees.
The annual fees and everything else would be worked into the IT budget. So you can expect that the IT request would go up, the information technology request. They manage most of our software contracts in addition to our existing Tyler Technologies. At the end of that year, we hope, if all the things align, that our Tyler Technologies contract would go down, not by the same amount. This one's going up, but it would go down. And then eventually, as we replace our financial software at some point in the future and our payroll software, we bring forward those separately.
800 this and 800 that.
Oh, it's expensive. I mean, so it's a different offering. Right now we host our own software. And so it's at least double the cost to go to a software as a service where it's hosted by the other company. But what we get with that is increased security, hopefully a more modern offering, and hopefully, most importantly with utility billing, something that a platform that our citizens can monitor their own usage. It'll also give us the ability to go to a time of use rate. There is another piece of software that would be necessary if we do that. That would be a meter data management software piece that houses all of those 15-minute interval reads. But that would come at a future date, hopefully after we've implemented SpryPoint. Then we would tackle time of use rates with our electrical service. That would be, we would get that meter data management software integrated with SpryPoint and call it good.
So how come this isn't something that we budget for, for years like you do for equipment? and things like that, how come we're not doing that with the software?
Not a capital project, I guess.
It's a one-time, so we implemented New World about 10 years ago.
And how much was that implementation, by the way?
Probably $700,000, something like that. And that included utility billing, financials, payroll, and community development all in one. So 10 years ago we implemented that. We have been saving for it. We do have reserves in our IT fund, but this is specifically serving basically 6 entities. It is 911, stormwater, then water, sewer treatment, electric, and environmental health, garbage. Those are the main components that are related to this. So they will budget, each one of those entities will budget for they will be charged for the ongoing fees of the SaaS fees. And we're requesting we pull out of their reserves for the implementation of this.
So it says it's coming from enterprise fund reserves, but there is a reserve for each enterprise fund.
Correct.
So have you allocated it by fund?
Yes.
Okay.
I can give you the estimate. It's about $207,000 for each of the water, sewer treatment, electric, and garbage. And then about $30,000 for 911 and storm.
Okay.
And that mirrors kind of our allocation for administrative fees.
Okay.
How much we charge them for billing.
Okay.
All of those fund reserves are within tolerance with this change. I know some of them are much smaller and bigger reserves, but all of them are within a range of comfortable still. Okay.
Will it allow to itemize surcharges like from the electric?
We have not discussed that specifically, but the way we have it currently established, I imagine it will work very similarly. I'm sure it does have that capability, but every software company is different. That one's a little bit weird because what it is, in essence, is a rate that we don't apply unless certain things happen.
Yeah, which makes it for not super clear communication on your bill.
Exactly.
So I would hope that this addresses that.
And we'll have to get into the specifics of that with Sprite Point when we get to that stage. As we've looked at it, we feel like it will be a good communication method with the customer. Much more, it gives us a greater capability of communicating with the customer with us, other than simply calling in.
That part alone will be wonderful.
Yep.
What's that?
That part alone will be wonderful.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to see last month's bills.
Yes, they'll be able to see their bills, see their usage.
Kind of compare July this year to July last year.
Exactly. And part of the reason we're selecting Sprite Point, they are, we think, one of the best companies out there providing these services. City of West Jordan and one other city in Utah have selected them and are in process. We anticipate several others will go to them as well.
Further questions for Rich before we move on? Thank you for the details. 2629?
Tyson's here. He's our utility billing manager and our treasurer. He wears 2 hats, just wanted to let you know. He and I have gone lockstep in investigating and looking for the best software. Along with our IT department, the mayor obviously has been involved at every step as well. So it's not just me, it's a whole team of people who are selecting this.
That's a good thing.
We trust you, but we trust more.
Sometimes it's a good thing.
We like
It's
multiple
smart, it
people.
Do you want to move on to 2629?
Yes, and I can cover this.
One quick comment. You have exhaustively researched this, like more than we've researched anything else.
More than everything else, all of the software services we've selected combined.
Yeah.
It's the 4 vendors that we've talked to, we've exhausted them as well.
That's a good thing.
It's fair.
It is. But it's still going to come with some disappointments, surprises, changes, and always some things that come with software changes.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old software is showing its age.
It is. Well, and software is changing so rapidly, it's difficult. But
We are hopeful that Sprite Point will last longer because of their adaptability and flexibility and what a great company they are. So, yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so 2628, or sorry, 2629, we can cover fairly quickly. As a general practice, we carry forward large capital projects that are incomplete at the end of the year. We bring those requests to council, who carries those things forward. There are a few operational that are unique or very large to the department. Other than that, it's mostly capital. So if you have any questions, I can answer those, but a few of them, element software implementation, that one's 16,000. I am going to adjust this next time to be 25. I left off. 16 is the PO, 25 is the total amount they had left over. There are a few of these other ones that will change as well as we get final invoices in. But other than that, it's large capital, as well as restricted funds, as well as grants. If you have any questions on any of them, I'd be happy to answer it. Otherwise, that's all I have to say.
I like those kind of workshops. Any questions for Rich? We're only an hour and a half behind schedule.
They are huge amounts. We recognize that. You know, there are some that are asked by the department, and we say, we don't feel comfortable bringing that to council. That's kind of an annual thing. Your budget covers that.
But you've also said in the past, and it's very, very true, that we work on a we change the year
in the middle of the construction
right
cycle.
in the middle of the big building season.
Worst possible time.
Yeah.
And so you've always got stuff that you started, but it hasn't finished yet, so you've got to move it forward.
There's a lot of moving parts in the city. Okay. No questions for Rich on carryovers?
No.
Carry forwards? Okay. It looks like Brad's back in the room. Is everyone okay if we go back to our motion that's hanging like a guillotine over our heads? Okay, council. As motion, I'm assuming there needs to be some further discussion. Brad, you want to take the microphone, and council, what questions do you have for Brad?
Well, I just need to know what Brad decided.
If we're willing to go.
I'm just wondering if you had other questions.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to deliberate, and we went back and I had them run the numbers, and unfortunately, we dropped it 51 to 40, and any further drop we just can't, it makes it inconceivable. So we're still hopeful, and respectfully ask to approve the 40 as presented. So still think it's gonna, I don't think it would materially change the neighborhood, those couple lots, but unfortunately it does make it infeasible.
Craig, can I rely on you again? There's a motion on the table. If the motion wants to be withdrawn, is that the technical term?
And there's a second. You
And
can
there's
withdraw
a-
or deny the motion.
You can what?
You could withdraw or deny.
Or we could vote and just deny it.
Vote to deny it.
Okay. Just want to know what my options were here.
And it's denying the amended motion made by
Right.
Ernesto
And then we could make another one if we wanted.
on the original.
I would.
Or another amendment. Well, she made a motion.
No, he didn't.
Oh, you made a motion? Oh, sorry.
I withdraw
You
my
said-
motion.
Motion withdrawn.
My second.
With second withdrawn. So we are back to, do we get a pass go? Can I get $200?
Sorry, I wish I could make an easy answer. But
No, you're
everyone's
okay.
happy with.
Sorry to keep making dumb jokes. It's late. Council.
Is it possible, this is a weird request, but the two homes on, what street is that again? Is it 350? Yeah, 350 South, coming from Equestrian Estates, that those driveways come out onto 350 South so that it kind of continues the neighborhood and doesn't make it feel like it's completely separate? I know that's a weird request.
When you have a single-family lot on a corner,
They can do
the
what they want.
homeowner can choose to orient to either street.
Okay.
Or the
So
person
we
building.
could not dictate that.
Okay,
Or the builder at the time, if it's a spec home, I'm assuming.
just curious, there's a question that was asked, so.
I do like that idea, and if you look at the setbacks there, I think they accommodate that.
Okay. What do you do when no one wants motion?
So if the council's unwilling to make a motion, or nobody wants to make a motion, then the next step is that in the absence of motion, the proposal for adoption fails.
Let's say if we don't vote it in, then it isn't voted in, right?
And in that case, it would default back to the base zone of
Right.
NR4.
It'd be essentially a no vote.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And I hope we're not, we're not bringing anything new or changing anything. We're just asking you to act on the direction you gave us to bring back a 40-unit plan.
Either make a motion for yes, a request of the other changes, or make a motion for no, because it's the same as not voting.
You guys live in that neighborhood. What's your gut tell you?
Melissa?
This is, again, like I said, super hard because, I mean, I haven't been on the past councils when neighborhoods have been approved that have less or higher density than this one does. I still don't like it because I don't like the idea that developers can come in and just change a zone that we have in place. And so that makes me want to say no. And listening to the neighborhood. I mean, we've attended many meetings. I've gotten many emails and texts. And so that's why I have a hard time wanting to say yes on this. But I do know that you have done a lot of changes, and I appreciate that. And it is better than the original plan.
You've been more willing to be more flexible than most, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that.
Well, and I appreciate your working with me, and I've spoken with almost all of you individually about it, and you are very thoughtful, and I know it's not just capricious whims that you're doing this on, but sometimes when negotiating, when both, it's really painful for both, we know we've hit a good middle ground. Because it's been as painful as we can go.
Brad's never coming to Logan again.
I know, he's like,
I'm
never
sorry.
again.
I'm sorry it's been that painful. I truly am sorry.
And
I joke about it.
I didn't mean about the process, I just meant
arriving
at a middle
yeah,
ground.
I know, but it's been a lot of work. I mean, I know a few of us have attended neighborhood meetings and online discussions and email discussions. I think most of us have had those. I think the neighborhood's still not happy with where it is. Part of me asked if the neighborhood would ever be happy with where it is, because I've said this before, I ran by it this morning. It's so dang pretty, just as a field, but you can't leave everything as fields all the time. And I get that too. But
seems like not at all.
Huh?
Seems like not at all.
Yeah. I still have big doubts on whether constant up zones are driving up land value, whether Sugar Creek makes landowners in the area look and say, oh, we can sell for more because the council would up zone, and this would be an up zone. Does the next parcel come in and say, oh, well, Maple View got an up zone, so I can sell for more because the council up zone? And it's a big concern of mine. Housing is unaffordable, and I agree with Mark of we've got to build houses, right? Like we do, but also if we constantly allow an up zone, then the property owners know they can get an up zone, and the land is now more valuable, which then makes it harder to build more affordable housing. How do you fix that feedback loop? I don't think I have an answer, but it's a big concern of mine. I don't think it's terrible where it is. I don't think the neighborhood loves it, and I don't think it fits the plan, and I have doubts about it. But Brad's been great to work with, and it's a lot better than where we started. Yes. But I'm the chair, so I'm not making motions, because I'm not supposed to.
How many units did you say the NR4 would allow to build there?
25 to 27.
Yeah, around 25. Once you take out the roads,
Yeah.
you lose some acreage when you do that.
So
it's 15 more houses, give or
15
take.
more houses.
13 to 15.
Theoretically, it'd be a little bit more, it's just with the odd shape with the buffers.
Right, with the buffer and then the roads. This is 13 to 15 more than, it's a nice car. Craig? How long do I leave them to make a motion before I say a no motion is a no?
There's no time frame.
I know, but I'm asking for guidelines here, and I'm not trying to push you guys too hard, but it is 9:15. And we still have another item with poor Kirk, who's never gonna talk to me again either, in the background. So, if you're, my opinion, but if you're not comfortable enough to make a motion yes, then a motion no is the same thing as not making a motion. So, and I'm not trying to get them to say no, I'm just, it's just a direction would be great.
Rich, or sorry.
Mike,
someone can make a motion to deny if that's where the council wants to go. It's up to the council.
Right. But it's on them.
I move we deny this resolution, which is
2615.
2615.
I have to tell you that I do really like all of you. But at the moment,
Oh, I know.
it's getting late, and I'm about to get snarky, if I'm not already.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to deny ordinance 2615. All in favor of denying, which denying would be an aye at this point. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion's denied. Sorry, Brad. I appreciate all your hard work, I really do. Okay, that is, hold on.
The motion was approved, the motion.
The motion to approve, deny ordinance 2615 was an aye, so we denied it.
You
The
approved
motion-
the motion to deny.
We approved the motion to deny it. Yes.
Yeah, you said motion was denied.
Oh, ordinance 2615 was denied. The motion was
I
approved.
just want to make sure.
Thank you. Thank you for,
We know what we did.
but it needs to be correct on the record because I don't want, I get that. Russ, thank you. Tell Aaron, thank you as well. I think unless there are other considerations, we're adjourned. And now we're going to adjourn the Logan
No, we're reconvening.
reconvening Logan Redevelopment Agency with Kirk, Rich. Sorry, I didn't look that far ahead.
Kirk can chime in if you have any questions, but this is just a request to carry over $50,000 for development agreements from last year's budget to the 2027 budget.
Any questions on this workshop?
Nope.
We're adjourned. Thanks, Kirk. I should have texted you an hour ago and said go home.
You stay sure.
That's enough.